It is what it is. I don't think Gen.G choices is meta. That's my take on this meta. I'm seeing a lot of venture. I don't know if that's just because we play sim. Maybe I've got a biased take, but like the venture Loki looks better than having a venture in there looks better more consistently. But maybe that's comp dependent. I don't know. I think Crazy Raccoon started winning against everybody on Gen.G Tracer, and people have just flocked to that. That feels like how these metas normally go, but maybe it'll stay. To be honest, I don't know how Wu Yang works very well. So I don't know if we ever would have been able to gel as a team online, because at that point Mag spoke basically zero English, and so like it's really hard to play with someone like that when you're not seeing them face to face. But we got
how much
did
he speak at the end?
A bit more than zero.
Huge progress, right?
No comment. We made that first step like together at bootcamp, and I think it pushed us past a lot of the teams that were having like internal issues. But then as soon as you guys figured that out and we kind of slowed down, it just like it got choked from then.
But I see comments all the time of like, oh, why didn't you just register your other Flex DPS player, you fucking idiots? Like, it's clear, if you can't read between the lines, that there is like, this is not a decision because Stalker isn't good enough, you know? Like, this is clearly not trial. This is not what's happening here, you know? Like, clearly it's fucking cooked, you know? Something in terms of that team relationship between players, coaches, someone, presumably Stalker is one of the pieces that's at war. This is clearly all that's happening. Like,
welcome to episode 42 of Uncoachable. We'll be catching you up on all the roster news, and with me today we've got all the usual fellas and a very special guest. We've got Crispy, who will be talking us through a lot of the Gen.G insight. Obviously we've got Chrissy, who's always here, and we've got a man who's often described as crusty, both because of his physical appearance but also because of his inability to qualify for major tournaments. It's of course the king of Japan himself, Max Hunter.
Already? That's brutal.
So obviously ground rules before we go in, important. None of us go for the king unless we intend on not missing, okay? So just ground rules going in, want to make that clear at the start, just so we're all on the same page. I thought the best way for us to kick it off was to start with EMEA and to maybe start with Gen.G, since we got Crispy here. But I wanted to go back in time, Crispy, because you've had a bit of an on-off thing with Gen.G so far this year. So
yeah.
Where did it start going wrong? How did you get back together? Talk us through the roller coaster of your relationship.
It's been a bit of a push and pull one, I guess. We had two bad stages, right? Like, I think for Gen.G, like 5th, 6th back to back's no ideal. So I kind of like frame one of the off season, they basically decided they were sick of our shit and they just wanted to get some changes going. So me and Mag went, and then guess they went through the off season. They looked at who else they could get, and they were like, "There's no one else." Like, especially if you're looking in Europe, there were really not many Lucio players. So I guess they asked me very nicely to come back. So out of the kindness of my heart, I had to pull through.
You're a nice guy.
As long as it was nice the way they asked, you know, as long as it was respectful.
Crusty out the window playing your favourite song, saying, I was wrong, it was my fault, come back.
I was more like, the players appealing to me, I guess, because, I really like Canal and Egg, so I think it's a strong core, and they were people I wanted to play with, so that's kind of the reason I jumped back, I guess.
I hope you at least got the same salary. Okay, I'll be so fucking funny if they offered you back and they lowballed you.
No, they didn't lowball me, thankfully. Would have got really ugly, I think.
Top 10 respect moments.
Thank you, Gen.G.
What order did everything happen in, Ben? Because obviously lots of the roster went in. Were like Tread and Backbone already kind of on board then by the time they asked you back, or?
Obviously they kept Canal and Eggs for the whole off season, right? And I think they were like looking into keeping Who Are You, but it didn't work out because they went like a no import route, and it kind of ended up like an all or nothing, like 3 days before the roster lock, where it's like you get me, Sky, Backbone on trade, or you probably have to fold your team. So I ended up in this weird position where I had my own decisions to make, but I also had a lot of weight riding on whatever I decided to do, right? Because if you lose the access to like me, Backbone, and Tread, there's really no one, there's no one else for them to get. So that was kind of the situation they ended up in, I think. And I actually really would like to see what they would have done if we didn't enjoy. So I think as a partner team, I don't think you can just like dip out. You can't just like bow out, right? They would have to do something. So I got no idea. But yeah.
What would you do? You'd like last minute raid PEPS or something? Just
I don't even know if you can do that
for
though, because
Full
whatever
those
send
players are
PEPs.
those
Yeah.
players are contracted. You can't just like
Nah.
I know they're probably cap contracts, but they exist for a reason. It would have been awkward, but I literally have no idea. It probably would have been cooked.
Did they offer a bunch of other people and then fail on all of those offers and wind up
Who,
having to
Gen.G?
come to you lot? Yeah.
No, they didn't offer.
Oh, so they just
it
sat
was
on their
really
hands?
just it was just a lack of options. I think because I think the problem this season is that if you want to go for imports, there aren't that many good ones available, and you have the problem of housing them. Like, there's only so much you can do if you're putting your imports in poor living conditions, and they're not that good. Like at that point, you're better off just getting EU players. I think they realized that as well, and then at that point, there's not many available.
I have to say, you're not selling me on Gen.G confidence. If it's the third time on the podcast where I say, yeah, they just had no fucking options, they just had the fucking signers, I'm not getting like this team's going to land, like winning it all vibes. Like, they fucked me. What can I say?
I mean, I'm not saying like the options are terrible. I'm saying there was maybe one option in every role that could work out, and they got them all. Like, and you have to have faith.
So they're the perfect
like,
off season.
Yes, the perfect off season that include re-signing me. That's why it was perfect.
I mean, I actually think
that's a good spin.
I actually think your roster is a higher chance of succeeding now than it ever did.
Yeah, I agree.
Year,
I agree for sure. I think
even if people think you lost like Korean mechanics, Koreans,
No.
you guys can now talk to each other, which is so fucking useful.
Good.
It's so useful.
Yeah, but I think a bigger thing even than that is like, sure, you lose like the mechanical ability and you lose like this whatever, but we have 5 players playing from home who all can work shit out together. I feel like last season we had insane issues creating a real environment, and I mean it's just a classic mixed team thing where there just becomes an insane rift between the Korean side of the team and the European side of the team. I think you know that well, Chris. I think you've.
It's just, to be fair,
it's classic, right?
We didn't really have it because even our Koreans hated each other, but in general, it's like a time.
Yeah. But I think
there was a rift between the Koreans too, so it was just a lot of hatred going on, But I think, I mean, you're right. Like it happens all the time where if you're a mixed team, I said it, maybe it was on the podcast or maybe it was whenever, but I think this off season, everyone, including me, took the let's fucking go mixed rosters. Let's get the imports back. And then on every team where it didn't immediately work out, everyone's just bounced fully back to CBA, Like even in NA, like SSG and Liquid are now just back to just fully American teams,
Yeah, it's so like.
I think, like talking to you and talking to other people who had the same experiences as TU, everyone's like, fuck, maybe it's just nice to play with people that you want to play with as opposed to people that you can't talk to.
And if you're winning on a mixed team, I imagine it's great. That's the thing. I think mixed teams are built on winning. Like,
it's not even that great. It's just nice
in
to
EMEA
win.
on mixed teams, no?
Say again?
Like VP, TM, Alcad, all mixed teams in this situation in the top 3.
Kappa mixed teams. So you got TM have one Korean and he's like just a chill dude. Like I think Simple's a bit of an exception.
I mean, this is the point: is that the teams that had success can keep it going, But like,
you need to win.
The second they fail, they'll give up. And I swear, at some point, someone. It was in this off season, ironically, when I was talking to TM for like one of the millionth times I was supposed to join TM. Before I went to T, before stage 1, I was talking to Zubi or someone, and even he was like, like the Koreans, it just went so badly last year. I don't want to do Koreans this year, And then in the end, they just
I was in that one as well, funnily enough.
Yeah, and they were the same, and then they just maybe ran out of options, and then they got, who did they get in stage 1?
Irony.
Yeah, and they fucking hated him, and then they're like, okay, no more Koreans, and then they got Simple, and then it was like, okay, this guy, like, it's finally working.
It needs to
I don't know, maybe like Checkmate's like so like he's so decent now, he doesn't count as a Korean.
Yeah. I think living conditions are important as well. I think that's maybe the biggest thing. It's like if
work, I think,
I mean, it needs to be going well in game or out of game. If it's neither, that's what happened in Gen.G Stage 2, where it's like we're living in this apartment that no one wants to live in the middle of the desert, and we're losing in game. Like, what can you do to reset? I feel like every team, apart from maybe like you need to win or you need to be living in good living conditions to bounce back. And I think if you don't have either of those, then you can't win.
Yeah. I think VP said it, right? Like, if you've ever spoke to Shockwave or something, they said the
Yeah,
fact that
it's
they
so
have a
big.
mixed team, but they're in a team house in Serbia. I think it gives them options
Yeah.
to deal with
I mean, even
booms in ways that maybe
for
other
sure.
situations don't, you know?
I don't know, just comparing the VP house to the Gen.G house is like, I think one is very much set up to succeed a lot more than the other, in my opinion. I don't think that's a hot take.
Are the Gen.G
New house
accommodations
now as
that
well.
bad?
What's up?
Are the Gen.G accommodations that bad? Because I feel like you've spoken a couple of times about the fact that
Oh,
players
it
are being
wasn't-
placed somewhere.
It wasn't great, no. Like, I mean, I think the first mistake was, sorry, so it's in Saudi, and we decided to move our whole team there, which I don't think any other team had their whole team in Saudi, right? It was just us, like even our Europeans, which obviously it's a bad thing in the first place because you have your whole team on 100 ping, which is pretty terrible, especially for Koreans, because in Korea, most of the players play on like 10 ping. So you move them to 100 and they just start collectively like losing their minds. But it was also like the apartment just wasn't good, really. Like, I don't want to speak too much about it, but I think moving to Saudi in the first place is hard because it's such a culture shift from living in most places. And then especially when we started losing so hard, it just kind of like snowballs. And you can't really go out anywhere. There's not much leisure stuff to do, so you just kind of like sit and get depressed, which is what happened to me. It's like obviously I took like 2 or 3 week break in the middle of the season, right? And Zox like clutched up and won us some games. It's because yeah, big up Zox. But we were losing and losing, and it was getting harder and harder, and I just didn't know what to do because it's like I sit down and scrim and we lose everything, and I play terribly, and then I just have to go and sit in my bed until the next scrim, you know. Like, so eventually, we just agreed that I needed to chill, so I just literally flew home, took like a week, and then got back to it. But I think it's a really slippery slope when you have bad living conditions for your players because it's hard to make a comeback.
I swear, access to alcohol is like low key the most insane advantage for like. Actually like. They need to. Well, no, but you know, I think it just get fucking smashed with each other, and then you'll become brothers again. You know, bad day scrims, it's all just get blasted.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the Koreans in the EU are in similar conditions, so it's not like a full excuse. But having a whole team there definitely made it worse.
I mean, our Koreans had the same experience where if you didn't enjoy scrimming, then there was your whole 24 hours was just filled of unenjoyment, except for like the brief 5-minute masturbation period before bed. Like the rest is just fucking
it's just misery, right? Yeah. I mean, we had some Korean meetings in our house. Like every like Korean in the EU was in our apartment at one point, I think. Like Choi, Violet. Yeah, we had it was like the council meeting in the living room, and then me, Kanel, and Eggs were sitting in the practice room. we had like Choi, Violet, Donghoon, Twilight, Heesung, like literally everyone was there at some point. So I guess that was good for them, like being able to meet up with each other. But I'm not a fan of playing like that.
Are you going to have a similar ping situation? Is Tread going to be at collegiate for this stage?
He is, which I think it's his decision. I think it makes sense to go to collegiate, but he's done it before. Like he played quite a bit of last year on that ping as well, and it's only like 100 flat, I think. So it's like more in the east part of Canada, so it's like really playable. It's like the same as playing from Saudi.
Did you guys trial Hadi?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't play the trial block with Hadi, but I think we did. Yeah.
Did they just choose Tread over him? Was that all it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Is Hadi just fucking cooked?
I mean, it's off tanks, right? You need D.Va. Like, I mean, after last stage, imagine how much you just want to play D.Va after you've spent 2 months losing to D.Va teams. Like, I feel like you really want one of those. I think that's the biggest turning point, right?
Gabby,
really?
Always Gabby.
Speaking of Gabby, do you feel like you've been a bit unlucky with how the meta has rolled around now in terms of you've signed what looks like an insane roster? Like if this was stage 2 and it is D.Va Sim, it's really fucking on all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we go into
Gen.G.
what looks like Tracer Gen.G ball, and all of a sudden, just as you look out your window, who are you already getting on the flight home? Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a Gen.G and TU, like the final punch in the face for our two teams. You know, it's like we've got these Korean dive like specialists. Like can you imagine Twilight running around with 40% movement speed nano boost? Like that guy would be taking the game over. But no, I don't know. I think it actually, like, in a way it's not terrible because like if it was still broken, we'd have to beat these teams at their best comp, you know, like we'd be Diva Sim mirroring, but now at least it's like our thing now. Like most teams aren't touching it anymore, so at least it's like something we can specialize in. I think that's the only way you can look at it positively, right? But I mean, I don't really care, to be honest.
No, it's
I think
so fucking funny. You had
it was
Mag,
jokes,
who are you
yeah.
for Diva Sim meta, and now you've got Backbone Tread for Ball Genji
Wait,
meta. That's
me
just
and-
insane, dude.
Do you remember stage
and
1 when
Sky
it was
were, like,
Sauna
crashing
Top Dragon
out.
as well?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
what a combo that would have
literally.
been if it was a Tracer Genji meta.
Yeah, you'd love to see that, but I mean, it's kind of what it is. Like at the end of the day, I ended up on a team that I'd prefer to play with. Like, I think I'd still prefer to play with this team than to play with the stage 2 team again, and that says a lot considering the meta right now. So
I think if you want some cope too, I'm pretty sure this season is like really short. So I think before playoffs, it's like we're
Yeah,
going to get
I think it
mid-season
is.
and a new season. So you're going to get
Yeah.
2 balance changes before.
there have to be some hit scan buffs. There have to be. I'm like,
Yeah, I think-
the hit scan is in the worst spot ever right now. It's actually insane.
This is a 40-day season, right? Like,
Yeah.
just a clean 40. So
48,
there's
I
like
think,
okay. So mid-season patch is already like, I think it's September 16 or something. I've been, rubbing my fingers together, getting ready for the mid-season drops enabled or whatever. That's all I think in now, drops, and kings and whatnot. But yeah, like already, we're 2 weeks out from a big balance shake-up where Flats is going to get to roll the ads once again. So, if you were missing your magazine, and maybe who are you, it'll be done in 2 weeks. Hitscan will be back better than ever, I'm sure.
I hope it is. I mean, I think EU has a lot of hit scans, but I trust EXO to go nuclear if they buff that role even a little bit. But right now, the poor guy's just dying, and there's nothing you can do.
If it makes you feel any better, though, if they do wind up buffing hit scans, there's going to be some sort of like turnaround here where because you didn't pick up Hattie, they're going to buff the fuck out of Ryan finally, and like you're going to still have made the wrong roster choices. So it's never going to
Sometimes
work
it
out.
just happens. It does
It's
just happen.
just Gabby every single time for you, I'm afraid. But
Yeah, I've heard some pretty bad rolls. I mean, stage 1, I don't even know how bad of a roll we got. Like, we spent the whole, I swear, that was peak Gen.G. It's the very start of the year, which is a bit sad, really. But even then, it wasn't like a double flex DPS meta when we were playing it. We just played it anyway and we won. And then we just maugered ourselves into a corner, I guess. I don't know, it was really, really a punch in the teeth watching, because you guys qualified that stage playing Winston, right, Hunter? You guys were diving, at least to a certain degree. And I was watching us just run into a wall on Mauger, get 6-0'd out the playoffs.
It's true. To be honest, even if Who Are You and Mag were still on your team, I'm not convinced they would have been able to pick Ball Genji. I still think they would have been.
People don't know this. People.
Go on, say it, mate. Say it.
People always flame Krusty for putting us on terrible heroes, but I think it was as much of a player thing as a coach thing. There were times where we were asking them to pick these heroes, and they're just like, no, I don't want to do that. So
no, I don't think I will. I will play another 12 hours of Diva.
It wasn't. It wasn't like Krusty was beating them with a stick and forcing them to play Diva Sim. They were really open for that as well. So
you mean to tell me that the Koreans really wanted to play the meta? Yeah.
You mean to tell me that when all the comps are decided in Korean, the EU players can't have much say on what you play? I don't know. It was like a team-wide grief, I guess.
Is this Gen.G going to be different then? Because obviously this team also has clear strengths. Is the plan this time to lean into the strengths?
I fucking hope so, bro. I'd fucking hope so. I mean, when everyone's English speaking, it sounds dumb, but you can really all have your own. It's so much easier for everyone to input, and I think that's the real goal. The goal is for everyone to do their own, have their own say, not just have 1 or 2 people deciding everything. But I think it's. I don't know. I don't hate anyone from the old Gen.G. I think it was a hard situation. We're all in when you're losing for 2 months straight, sometimes you do just want to just change it up, And we're in a situation where our team's not working together, and everyone can see that. But what can you do at some point? Sometimes it is just Gabby, and you just have to do what you can.
Can I ask about Sky as well? Is Sky coming in? Is Sky the backup for Kaneo, or when you want to play double flex support, or is there genuine whoever plays best gets the spot type thing?
It's a competition-based thing, but that's between all 3 of us as well. Right now main support is an kind of an invaluable thing, but if we went into a world where you were playing double flex every map, I'd be so down to just not play, because that's the best way to win, right? I think all 3 of us kind of have the same sentiment that we'll just play whoever has the best chance of winning. I'm really fine to do that. Normally on teams before, I've not wanted to play with 3 supports because I think it can detriment your team. I think when all 3 supports are at a high level, there's not really a problem with it. I think the only problem with having 3 supports comes when you sub them in and out in the same series, because I think that gets really dicey for bans. But if we're just committing to 2 out of 3 at a time, I think it's really fine.
Then from Wallagug, personal biggest what if in terms of rumoured roster moves or signings that never ended up happening?
I guess on Philly, because that's the only time I had infinite money, we were one of the people in season 3 that was like bidding for that Sparkle hand in. What was the team? Were they on Element Mystic? Was that what the whatever?
Yeah, Element Mystic to Paris they went.
Yeah. So and
was
like
it
we got
as
like
well?
Carpe to go meet them and stuff like that. So I think there was an element there of I mean, we had a pretty successful season, but maybe it's possible if we had like Hambin and Sparkle in there, we would have been insane, you know?
Would have been like long signings as well, you know? Could have kept those players for ages and had a lot of success.
The roster would have been something like, what would it? It would have been like Sado, Hambin, which is a good start. Then it would have been like Sparkle, Carpe, which would have aged poorly, but started well. And then it would have still probably been like Astro Alarm. So it would have actually just been like, I suppose we got Fury. Yeah, it would have been good.
Should we just start hitting some of the EMEA lineups as we go through?
Yeah, get the VP look out the way.
Well, yeah. So VP have signed Kevster, and it's probably fair to say there's never a bad time to sign Kevster. But this feels like an egregiously good time to sign Kevster, as all of a sudden Tracer, Gen.G, Jwoo, Kev, it all sort of seems to line up. Kev probably had, I think fair to say, a billion choices in the off-season in terms of people who would have wanted or been willing to sign him or incorporate in their roster in some way. Ultimately chose VP, links back up with Smash, out in Serbia already in the team house and everything. And word on the street is they're expectedly smashing it with these current comps as well. So I don't know. I feel like this is just an outrageously good signing for a team that now feels like they might just shoot themselves back to the top of the EMEA.
Yeah, I feel the signing in a way was originally fucking weird, you know? Like, we got to investigate, or at least this is what I thought. Originally, I think we have to investigate VP's money, because it's just, there's too much of it, you know? Because like, imagine you've won stage 1, you've already got EWC, which is like the big tournament, out of the way. You've actually done okay. What did they get? Like top 8, right? Like
top 8.
Top 8.
Solid.
Yeah, in the group of death. And you go into the stage 3, and then you go to your organization and say, okay, I know we have a full roster. I know we have a flex DPS who's doing really well, but could you just break the bank and then just like make a fucking record signing for another flex DPS? And then the org, in 9 times out of 10, would be like, shut the fuck up, Smash. Like, what are you talking about? This is not an option. And then I don't have information, but I'm so convinced this must be true. I think there's no way Kev's contract runs out in the end of this stage. I think they must have put him on like a that they because you know how this off season with whoever got Kev was like the one that could get everything. Like they were the ones that would win the off season. Like TU fucking dominated the off season. We could all accept that. Like what a great decision TU got this year, right?
Yeah.
But that was the whole thing. It was Kev first, and everyone was kind of waiting for Kev and wanted to play with Kev and considering Kev. And it's possible that VP say, okay, we're gonna fucking spend all this money, but then he is gonna be immediately locked in for next stage. Then they can then decide what they want to do.
That's a generational signing, if that's true.
I just don't see any way that VP would like pay that money for 2 months.
No, I think they would. I mean, I think VP are an org. From what I've heard about VP is that they have a lot of money. That's one, and 2 is that they really do just want to win, like in different games. And so I can see that. I mean,
yeah, but okay, my feeling is that signing Kev for VP didn't change anything too much unless double flex became meta for some reason, which has never happened, right? Gen.G Tracer hasn't been meta since the start of Overwatch. It's fine. Like, it just won't happen, you know? Because I feel like if, let's imagine Sim was still meta, like they signed him before the patch. I feel like this doesn't change that for them at all. It still makes it really difficult. I saw one content creator said, yeah, they said, you know, Kev was signed to be the Sim player. I saw that, and I was like, okay, that's the worst take I've ever fucking seen in history.
Ice is still the best Sim on that roster.
Yeah. But I think it makes perfect sense if he's on, if he like he's already locked in for next season.
VP have done this in the past, though, right? Like, VP have always been like when 2024 ended, I think they were very quickly like talking to like Shockwave and Smash and the people who they thought were like the key parts of their roster in terms of getting them on board for next year. So I wouldn't be surprised if again they're doing the same thing and trying to forward plan as much as possible. Because if they have done that, then all of a sudden, when we go from like into the first stage of 2026, if you've already got a couple of these key pieces locked in, then you can probably attract almost anyone to that roster.
And in theory, like
imagine they could lock down
slot.
Kev. Yeah, exactly right. It locks down. It opens an extra import slot for like tank or something. So Smash loves his dive tanks. I think that would have been really.
Yeah. I feel like it's just a very sensible move for like any organization that intends to be involved in the game for the next year, in all honesty. Like we can talk about investigating the money, but it's like, I mean, I'm pretty sure like Twisted, I don't know about Alcad. Maybe Alcad's just really happy with what they've got at the moment, but like I'm pretty sure Twisted wanted Kevin as well. And like, many teams wanted Kevin. And if your organization has the money to spend a bit of money into plan for the future, if they intend to be involved in the game for like more than the next 2 months, then I feel like they're going to go for Kev, because Kev is, still the king, so something about swinging for the king here. I'm sure there's a bit somewhere in there. So like, even if it doesn't really look like the most essential move ever in the short term, it's like, oh, they have a DPS line that already works, and like, oh, they have 2 flex DPS if they sign him. It's like, it's fucking Kevster. And Kevster just became a free agent in the middle of the year, which nobody could really have expected at the beginning. So if he's available, take him while he's cheap, because he's only going to get more expensive if you get him in the off season. So it just feels like forward thinking more than anything else. And also, we obviously we got to follow the money, but that's a different story.
That's the next week's podcast, the money following podcast.
Follow the money. I kind of disagree with you, because I think even if there wasn't some generational meta rule, I feel like he's still just like not to glaze him too hard, but I feel like he's still like a clean upgrade in both DPS roles. I
agree. I think Kev's fucking insane. There's no attempt to.
He is the
best. Just my point was, let's imagine the meta stayed the same. What I'm saying is, bringing Kev to this team doesn't change their chances of winning it. And I think if it becomes like a traditional like Gen.G Tracer, Gen.G or Tracer meta, like a traditional hit scan plus flex DPS, VP were probably still favored to win that meta with JWoo, because he was then in a situation where the other my point is, like, it didn't feel like it solved the problem.
Close the gap with TM and Alcad.
Yeah, on the same or like the super macro comps, and they were already ahead on the other comps. But I agree. I think he's probably a better hit scan than Shockwave, and I think he's a better flex DPS than JWoo. So I think it's like Max said, like especially if it's for the future, it's an objectively really good move.
Maybe the real meta pickup was Backbone to cover those macro weaknesses. Maybe that was the meta pickup.
Are you suggesting you want to organise a trade, like a Backbone for Kevs to trade with VP?
No, I'm all in, baby. I'm all in. All in on Sim, baby.
So, yeah, I think it's a fair conclusion after talking it through. Kevster was indeed a good signing for Virtus Pro.
Shout out VP. And then can we just talk about it? Can we just talk about the fact that within 2 days of Kev joining VP, Gen.G Tracer spawns hard meta for the first time, literally since I was playing with triple DPS. I was playing the game as a fucking Reinhardt player against fucking AKM and stuff in script. Do you know how long it's been since Gen.G Tracer has been viable? And people said it, people said, oh, this would make sense if it's a Gen.G Tracer meta. And I was like, you guys are all fucking there is no way Gen.G Tracer has ever or can be meta. And then it just was. It just immediately was. It didn't even wait like a day. It's disgusting. So many teams just high rolled this just immediately. It's actually so funny. I'm so glad I'm not in EU. I just watch you guys all just get destroyed by Kev-G.
It is what it is. I don't think Gen.G Tracer is meta. That's my take on this meta. I'm seeing a lot of Venture. I don't know if that's just because we play Sim. Maybe I've got a biased take, but like the Venture Loki looks better than having a Venture in there looks better more consistently. But maybe that's comp dependent. I don't know. I think Crazy Raccoon started winning against everybody on Gen.G Tracer, and people have just flocked to that. That feels like how these metas normally go, but maybe it'll stay. To be honest, I don't know how Wu Yang works very well. So I'm not really sure.
These games are making it sound better and better, Crispy. You're just filling me with Gen.G confidence right now, man.
We've been doing pretty good.
Oh, go on, sorry.
We've been doing pretty good overall. Like, it's not like we're not dropping like generational scrim results, but I mean, it's been going. It's like classic honeymoon period theory, I guess. Like, you can't really say something's going good until it's actually started going good into the season. So I won't glaze us too hard.
We talked about this a bit before the show, but just remember, even the biggest dumpster fires of teams you've ever seen have all had a good preseason.
Yep.
Like, preseason is this beautiful time where everyone just has a good time. Anything that goes wrong, we got time to fix it. Full of optimism, full of hope. There's always time for it to turn into a dumpster fire. So, Qadsiah also made a change, probably on the lower impact side. They've brought in Chase in what has become a trademark Chase signing, where he comes on to be the dive tank guy.
Poor guy.
I'll caveat this with, I actually really like Chase. I think he's a nice guy. Enjoyed working with him for the brief time I did get. But I also feel like I've seen this happen 2, 3, maybe 4 times before, and it's not worked. So I'm really apprehensive that taking Ziad out and moving away from this, their comps and trying to play Winston or Bald or whatever it might be, even if in many ways, like getting a ball player and then Checkers and Lubda can play Tracer Gen.G or some combination of these things seems quite reasonable. I don't know, like Chase, the performances have to convince me, because everything that's happened over the last however long it's been, like year or so, hasn't convinced me the Chase dive option ever really worked out for teams.
My feeling on Chase isn't just that he needs to, perform well in the server. He actually needs to show up to an important match when it matters too. Like, not just in terms of performance, but actually just by being there in the first place. It seems like he's got a huge issue when it comes to doing that. I thought when I saw that signing, I thought that this is a fake signing, not because, he can't hack it in the server, but because he can't fucking hack it by attending the events. It feels like every single time it just never happens. Maybe this will be the difference maker. Finally, it's changed, but yeah.
He should be there if they call.
You think so?
Sure. Yeah, he will be. I'm pretty sure.
He's sorted out all of his citizenship and visa and all that.
And then he says, "Oh, there's a few problems that I might not be able to make it." And it's like, "Oh, thanks for telling us that." Like after,
Yeah, and maybe I don't know. I've always been a Chase head because I played with him on one of my most successful teams. But I think not having I think being taken out of the solo tank position for so long kind of grieved him. So I feel like he was really building up to be like an everything guy, like a someone type.
His
of tank player.
was really good.
I mean,
his RAM was
when we came top 3 on EXO, like when we knocked out you guys, Chris, he was really playing everything for us. He was playing like, I think we got like the map 5 edge we got over you guys was playing him on Sigma, which is something I don't think you guys could have done. So I think all of his ground tanks and his dive tanks were looking really good. But then obviously he joined Ents. I think Gunber actually wanted to solo tank him. I think that was his long-term plan for Chase. But then obviously the out of game conditions meant that wasn't possible because he couldn't take him to any other majors. So he kind of just got griefed. And then it's really hard to develop as a player when you just keep joining rosters with the best ground tank players in the world. Like Vest KSA Ziad is like a generational ground tank lineup.
Yeah. No, I'm with X on this. It feels like this is like the most predictable outcome ever, like he's gonna come in, he's gonna lose his maps not because he's inting or he's a bad player, but just because the team knows exactly how to play with Ziad's hero pool and they don't know how to play with his hero pool. And he's going to get that 1 or 2 maps each scrim block, and they're always going to be the worst maps for their win rate. And then it's going to get to the season, and then Ziad's just going to play every single map. I think it's just always how it goes,
It's probably true.
There's so many teams that try this 2 tank stuff. The vast majority have just a tank where they come in and lose, and a tank where they put in if they're trying to win, I think even in Korea, like Mag is going to be the guy that they start with, and then Bernard is just going to play every single fucking game for the rest of the season. Like I feel like Falcons, when they had Smurf, were the only team that seemed actually both have a purpose and both win on their maps.
Yeah, that was before bans, right? I think bans make it even harder. I think you need like 2 generational tank players who have been with the team for a long time to make that work. And if you don't, I just don't think it's worth like expanding your comp like the comps you play for it. You need to learn so much. Like everyone needs to learn. You know, it's like what you said. It's not because It's not because the second tank is bad. It's just because this team has spent 8 straight months playing ground tank comps. Like, I don't know.
It also happens, whereas if you're playing these different comps on certain maps, how many maps in the scrim block is that going to be? So it's not just about how much practice does Chase get, how much practice does the rest of the team actually play in these other comps get, you know? So it just becomes a small percentage of your practice. You don't make the same progress as you do. And especially this team has sort of been a team that have just gone, they found a comp that works for them, and then they just adjust their play style to solve whatever they run into. So it feels like a big sort of shift from the path they've used to have their success so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, we had similar on Gen.G Stage 1 where we wanted to have Anna Brig as an option, but when you're playing, it's really hard to learn a difficult comp when you're playing 1 or 2 maps of scrim of it. Like, you really need to grind that shit out, and it's just not worth it, I think. Especially for, like, a team that just got second in the world playing to their strengths. But we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, it happens to loads of teams, right? Like, it happened to Billadeng over in China. I mean, it happened to us on London with Poco, right? Like, we would always struggle on Poco maps, and I promise you, none of that was to do with Poco, you know? Like, he was still more than good enough to play at that level. It's just like a really hard thing for a lot of teams to manage, unless maybe you happen to have Smurf and Hambin. But exception rather than the rule on that one.
You a Max hater? Oh, no.
Which Max?
Crazy Raccoon Max.
Crazy Raccoon Max.
You keep talking about 2 tank lineups, but we haven't talking about those 2 yet. So I
think they are so good, they make it work, but I'm 100% sure they would have the same, if not more success, if they just only played jump in.
You know what? I don't think it's a surprise that in Stage 2 is probably the Max version of the Crazy Raccoon lineup looked, but that was also the time Max actually became the majority tank player. Like, it wasn't just he was playing the hybrid maps or the Midtown, the King's Row. He actually became their tank player in more situations than jump in. So all of a sudden, that scrim balance shifted in Max's favor, and that was probably the sort of most consistently, or the best he's looked consistently. So I think it's not that like Max has like an inability to be good, but it's like a symptom of the problem rather than anything else. But also it's Crazy Raccoon, so anything they do just works out. Then we'll do, I guess, Vision are probably the next biggest team. Even though they're the newly promoted team, Vision don't really seem to sit in the same category as the other newly promoted teams because they have more resources than a lot of others. They've made pretty significant changes as well, which was maybe surprising to some because it felt like they sort of bounced back with a pretty strong roster. But they get rid of Slowdive, which I think surprised people. They got rid of Alba, they got rid of AMDP, and they brought in Chaos, Cookie, and Skyle. So, like, pretty substantial changes around the board. Understanding is very much that One and Chaos are going to function almost exclusively as the Saudi E-League roster. They have them if they need them type thing, but it's going to be closer to a 5-person roster that actually play the most of it. A random tag onto this as well is Prophet has also been signed just to play in Saudi E-League, for whatever that's worth. But yeah, I was maybe the slow dive change was probably the most surprising out of this. I thought he had like pretty good showings when we've seen him play in OWCS and in the promotion relegation, but I mean, so is Cookie, right? But it doesn't seem like a huge upgrade downgrade type thing for me, so I'm not sure about that part of
it. Yeah, I mean, I like Cookie a lot. I mean, I think Cookie is an underrated player because he's always ended up on the teams that struggle, but I think Cookie will do really good on this team, in my opinion. I think as long as they don't have the mixed team classic of just completely exploding mid-season, I think as long as they keep that shit together, I think Cookie will prove a lot of people wrong.
I think if they can get a lot out of Tama, if they can like unlock him, this team like has potential to be scary. But I also don't see its like unique win conditions to take it into LAN. Apart from like ball double flex or something, like
they rolled high though on Kiri Wuyang at least. Like I think that team's gonna get away from Lucio at any opportunity. Let Violet shoot the gun. I think it's a lucky roll for them. I think that team gets so much less scary when the big guys on Lucio. You know, I think he has an aura about him when he has a gun to shoot, but Lucio's gun doesn't really exist. So I think that would have taken a lot of the oomph out of that team. But now they should have that back, which I think is good for them.
Do we talk at all about Kai not being on this roster? Because I feel like everyone thought Kai was going to be there, and then he just wasn't. And then he wasn't even on their CAD roster either. Like they put what's his name, Prophet, on that roster as well. So it's like over 2 on Kai being on this team. Even though I was hearing in like the off season that it was quite likely that Kai was going to wind up there. Does anybody know anything about that, or do we think that Kai is just being put out to pasture and turned to glue?
And it was an active choice to have Cookie. I think. I don't know how much I can say over Kai. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is like,
there is like one's on an upward trajectory, like less experienced, not had a chance on our big teams, and the other has been around for much longer. So it's a classic like gamble on the potential of Cookie.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's strange to sign a completely different hits. Like their cell roster is like alarmingly different to their OWCS roster, which I think can cause problems with like splitting practice time, people at LAN, stuff like that. So I think that's a bit dangerous for them. But I guess if they handle it, then I don't see why not.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel for me, Kai and Hadi both not getting teams kind of surprised me. I feel like Kai really wasn't that bad for us like in stage 2, considering everything that was going on. I think he had really, really good performances on Freya, and even in scrims, I don't think anyone apart from fucking Heesung who felt he just needed one more hard player. You know, if he just had one more hard player in him.
If you hard played, man.
Yeah, but I don't know. I felt hit scanning EU is kind of tricky because there's actually tons of options. You know,
there is so many. There is so many. Like the fact that it took Cookie this long to get a good team is actually kind of insane. I think everyone who's been around EU knows Cookie is good. You know, I feel like that's a pretty accepted fact. But there's just so many hit scans that it's hard to get a spot. And it took this long for one to open up. But yeah, I think Kai gets overhated a lot. People love to shit on Kai for literally no reason. I feel like he's been playing consistently good. He's just, I think if you lose, like you're losing with Kevster on your team, people just like to point blame at you. But I don't think it's ever been his fault.
I also feel like it would feel different as well because EMEA is potentially even like the best hit scan region in the world, right? Like with Lugda Quartz, like the peak level for some of these teams is insane. Whereas you go into other regions, even like regions like Korea, and there's maybe 1 or 2 players in this category, but then it sort of like thins out quite quickly. So I feel like there's an element here now, like, you know, we're going down the like rosters, and like the 5th, 6th teams all have like a hit scan probably good enough to play in the top 3 teams in like another region or something.
Yeah, I agree. I think the top like there's like 6 maybe really high level hit scans in Europe, maybe even more. So it's just hard competition, I guess, compared to other roles. Like you look at the hit scan talent pool compared to other roles, like maybe main support, I guess. Like I feel like the fall off is really different. Not to flame people playing my role, but I'd include myself in the poor talent pool as well. So I guess it evens it out.
It kind of shows, right, on the fact that like Vision, because obviously Vision's ideal was, I think, obviously what we did last stage was to have Alba in so they could get Violet on the flex support role and have him in like what they feel like his best role is, which feels like a really reasonable one. But with you going to Gen.G, like who would they even sign? You know,
there was
if
nobody.
It was to get Violet onto that role, it's really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it shows a lot that it shows a lot. Thank you. I think it shows a lot that I can have such a terrible stage and still have so many options because the main support talent pool is so low that it gets to it's like the trade. What the fuck? You good?
She'll be fine probably.
It's like
it'll buff out.
It's like a trade-off, right? Of how much do you want Violet on flex support versus how low down of a main support you have to go with. And I guess they crossed the line at some point. I think Skylar's good as well. I think Skylar's the same as Cookie, where he hasn't had much of a chance to show himself. I think the showing he had on TU last stage might have boosted him just enough to get there.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, his stock got him for that one final game. You know, like it was a good shout from him. I felt one thing that I can't remember. It was when Zeta signed Bliss and Mag. Like one thing that kind of struck me, which it's probably been true for a while, is that like Overwatch is just in a massive recycling phase. You know, like every single team just drops the same 2 or 3 players, and they're just going to go to other teams. And like the amount of like new talent in this game is, I swear, it's almost zero. Like a team like Zeta, if the fact like no disrespect to Bliss, Max will shit on him a little bit later, you know, but like, I'll keep it respectful for now. The fact that they look and the only option they had was Bliss, I was like, fuck, like actually it is fucking tough out there. And it's the same in EU, like the same people, they'll have like a bad stage, and it will be their first bad stage, and then they'll just recycle around, you know.
I just don't think it's even true. In this, like, I think there are risks that you can take, you know. Like, I don't understand. Again, no disrespect to Bliss, but like, just looking at like by way of results, I'm really surprised that Zeta didn't go and take Lee Soo-min, you know? Like, Lee Soo-min,
that's true.
Letting him slip through the cracks in stage 1, like sneak over to AG, like stay with that core, that can happen, right? But how can you let that happen twice as any organization, right? Like as any team, how can you see that guy like clearly has a lot of talent, clearly has a niche, clearly kind of fits the mold of what a new era main support is in Overwatch 2, where they're not just a Lucio one trick, they're not just a Brig one trick, they're somebody that can actually play these heroes that require aim, and they just let that guy go right through to the keeper and go play on an unsigned team for another stage. Like it's really bizarre.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
When we were talking about the mixed rosters earlier, I did feel like this isn't so much an issue of like, you know, just mixed rosters. Obviously, like mixed rosters, they have like a lower tolerance for loss and defeat. And like, you know, the mixed rosters that were winning, it's teams that have like checkmate, you know, like an Overwatch League champion on the roster. Whereas the teams that are losing, it's teams that have Kellen, somebody that was coming 15th in Overwatch League. You know, no hate to Minjay, right? Like I think he was like one of the better tanks in North America. But it's just like, you know, you're picking from a mid-table player, somebody that when they were competing at the top tier, they were always mid-table, versus somebody that was actually winning the fucking grand finals, you know? That's the difference. And, you know, mixed rosters, naturally, you're going to struggle more when you're losing, lower tolerance for adversity. But it's like, you know, Mag, somebody that could never fucking win a damn thing no matter which way you sliced it. What a surprise that when you import him over to EMEA, he still cannot win a damn thing. He's still not worth anything. Whereas Checkmate, somebody that has won it all, won at the absolute top level, he can actually go through and do it. But yeah, Chrissy's run away, and I was hoping he'd be able to interject with something to keep me on track, but I'm lost now.
I think Korea is the worst region for poor like the talent cycle. You know, I feel like that region is really just cycling the same at the top. Like, how many players have really come through in the last like year or two? Maybe like Proud.
The whole AG roster's doing it though. Like,
yeah, but they're still unsigned. My point is that they're still unsigned, which is kind of.
They were signed. They just got pump and dumped by a Chinese org. You know, like they had a month. They had a good month of being signed. They just got dropped again for fucking what felt like no reason. I don't know. I really thought that team was. I thought that team would be orged up by now. I was really expecting them to.
I thought we'd get picked apart in the off season, but I mean, maybe I just found out late, but I feel like they got dropped pretty late in the off season, unless I'm wrong. So I don't know if it was like too late for some teams, but I really have no idea.
Yeah, I think it was a bit late. I think it was a bit of a surprise for them, perhaps. Maybe they weren't expecting that even.
Zeta, I feel like when I heard about Zeta, it was actually quite early in the off season compared to everything. Like Zeta kind of locked up those pieces relatively quickly. So maybe everything was already done and signed before then.
Yeah, I think so. And there's not many import spaces right now because people are getting the like mixed roster fatigue type of thing. But maybe I think next year those players should find places to go if they don't get a full like org to sign them.
Because I guess Sunjun is probably one player you look at and like could really import this guy if you could convince him to do it. You know, in terms of success and experience playing on mixed rosters before.
Yeah, but it's kind of like I think it's like what Max said, where your imports need to have a certain like star potential to them. I think to like truly work, I think they need to have like the potential to be world beers, you know. And I feel like if you don't see that, then it's really hesitant to import. It's like someone like Checkmate or to be honest, I mean, I guess maybe not. Maybe you just can't like Simple. Like the start of this year, I don't think anyone would have think Simple would be like the best player on that TM roster at times, you know. But you actually like I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I agree with Sion. I think he's good.
I just think that it's not very good to recruit from the mid-table, you know, like to import from the mid-table, because typically if you're importing from the mid-table, unless it's like a really extenuating circumstance like flex supports in EMEA, right? Like it makes sense that Simple is on Twisted Minds because the flex supports in EMEA, like once you've taken up what's available, it's just shit, you know? Like if they had to choose between Simple and Sky, I mean, I think Sky's had enough chances to prove that he can't hack it. No disrespect to the flex support that is your flex support, maybe.
Tragic.
He's already shit on him in the first 20 minutes, but he said it was
it's a classic. Shit on him first, and then check afterwards. Yeah, shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah. But ultimately, like, unless you're in a really desperate situation, if you're just picking from the mid-table, importing is probably never the right play, because if you're going to paperclip trade mid-players, you might as well have a mid-player that you can, communicate with properly, and you're not going to have all of these additional complications.
Yeah.
And you're going to have a bit more tolerance for adversity, because the adversity is going to be the killer in a long season. And you know what? If you really wanted to adversity max, maybe you could mix up the roster. Then you could dump everybody in some like pretty shitty living conditions in Saudi Arabia. Make sure their ping's high. Make sure they're unhappy. And no alcohol for you either, buddy.
Yeah, I think it's like you look at like, I don't know, if you compare like a mid-table EU player to a mid-table Korean player, it's like the Korean player is going to be better, right? I think everyone knows that, but it's like, how much better are they compared to how much worse they're going to play because of the situation they're playing in, Like, they can't speak their own language, they're living in a new continent, they're living in a tough place. Like, how much are they going to downgrade to the point where they get overtaken by an EU player who's playing at their max? And I feel like it's pretty easy to say that.
You're right, for sure. Yeah. I think people give in their head, like, the fact that the guy was born in South Korea, like a 20% imagination of how good they are. Like, we for sure fell for it with fucking Heesung, Like, the guy was not a better tank than the EU tank, Like, I got spin doctored, and I just fucking...
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
just because he's Korean, you see the potential, you really believe that he's better. Then he's watched the gameplay.
I could also see Heesung going back to a Korean team and playing really good. That's the thing.
Where, mate? Which
that's the
team?
problem,
no
right?
one
exactly.
wanted him. No one wanted him.
I guess that's true, but
he didn't get a single team,
Yeah, I mean, he's in Cell now, I heard. I'm pretty sure he's playing in Saudi League.
Nice.
That's becoming Korean tier 2 very quickly, which I think is a bit of a problem with the system.
But what's true about, like, we use Simple as maybe an example of a player who wasn't necessarily coming from like one of these top or elite Korean teams, but also on that TM roster, Simple doesn't need to be the star on that roster, right? Like, Quartz is the star.
Yeah.
You already have your star player to sort of build around. You just need a complementary player. So if he's just the equivalent,
it's like a system player
of like someone else, And even similarly, like, to be honest, like, Checkmate actually is good enough to be the star as well. But even like Lubza and Ziad are on that roster as well, Like, it's like complementary to all these things. Like, that's not as good an example, but I feel like there's also like you need the star in some form, Like, Fixer's maybe a good example, right? Like, Fixer's not the star on VP. He's just a good player in the role. But because they also have stars in the team, and I guess in many ways Jaywoo did turn out to be the star for that team, they still, it looks fine all of a sudden, But if like Fixer was on Gen.G with like Mag or something instead, I'm not...
That's not imagine that.
But I'm not convinced that's not like that would have solved Gen.G's problems, right? Like, I don't think that would have shifted Gen.G anywhere up the table.
I don't think so. I think Gen.G was in an unsalvageable situation in stage 2. Maybe stage 1. Stage 1 you can argue, right? Because we were actually really good for most of stage 1. Like, we kind of, I think Chris could probably back this up. Like, most of stage 1, we were a top 2 team, I think, in Europe. Like, I think VP were always better than us. You disagree?
Top 2?
At the start, for sure, yeah. No? Until playoffs. You don't think?
I don't think so, mate. I think you guys are fucking dog shit always.
Oh, even when we beat you? I mean, we wouldn't assume an official.
He beat us like 3-2, no? In some like absolute fucking cumlo dogfight where we were absolute dog shit.
I mean, maybe I'm bugging that, but I feel like at the start of the season it was going so well for us, and then as soon as it starts to go badly, it just spirals. Like, it's really messy. But stage 2 felt like we were kind of set up to lose overall, which is like whatever, but yeah, I don't know.
Were Gen.G top 2 in stage 1 at any point? Who was the second?
I think we were.
VP?
I mean, at the thing at the start, at the start of the season, TM were
TM were shitting themselves.
TM and TU were both. Like, we spawn camped Alcad on stage 1. We spawn camped them in the regular season. They didn't cap a point against us, and then they just locked in for playoffs. Like, Alcad were not good in that regular season.
That's true.
Like, TU and TM were both having like monstrous internal problems, and like we were. Yeah, I mean, by playoffs, we were definitely not top 2. But most of the regular season, every team was crashing and burning, but we were kind of going okay at that point. So we did like,
and then you guys started crashing and burning, and then you timed it badly.
Yeah,
looks warm in that plane crash. Let's get in.
But I mean, I think in this case, we went to Korea preseason, right? Which I think is like, it's kind of like the same VP effect, right? It's an insane buff to learn to like, especially in a mixed team, to spend your time together at the very start. I don't know if we ever would have been able to gel as a team online, because at that point Mag spoke basically zero English, and so like it's really hard to play with someone like that when you're not seeing them face to face. But we got
how much did he speak at the end?
A bit more than zero.
Huge progress, right?
No comment. But yeah, like we made that first step like together at boot camp, and I think it pushed us past a lot of the teams that were having like internal issues. But then as soon as you guys figured that out and we kind of slowed down, it just like it got choked from then.
All right.
How much English did? Sorry to cut you off. How much English did your guys speak, Chris? Your
Faith English, really good. Twilight English, I think really good. Heesung English, really bad. Who else? Are there any Koreans we had? Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, I think it's a problem, right? It's like you can have Koreans who speak really good English, like Krusty and Who Are You are both basically fluent, right? But you have one guy who's really
fluent in English.
More or less, yeah.
Really?
Mate, he was on Fusion Uni back in the day. You'd hope
he was on Fusion Uni.
Oh shit! True, you're right. That guy's OG, you know.
He's basically fluent, like him and Krusty. But then the problem is like when you can have one guy who isn't, and it just kind of brings the whole thing down, because then you're like forced to do so much more non-English speaking, and it doesn't matter what they're saying, you know. If we're sat there and we're losing, and they spend 10 minutes speaking in Korean, it creates a rift. Like, yeah, go on.
Could you elaborate who was weighing the team down on Gen.G?
Oh well, okay. In the English-speaking department, it was Mag. That's what I'm referring to. Mag's English was not that good.
Right.
But the problem, I think there was the problem
one of
is
their bigger departments.
I mean, I know he's your best friend, Hunter, but yeah, like the problem is when they're not even. It's really hard as a Western player to spend 15 minutes listening to Korean and then hear half a sentence of summary. You know, like it's. What are you laughing at?
No, sorry, mate. It was a good segment.
I'm trying to toast. I'm just being rage bait into flaming my own teammate. Like, no, I don't hate Mag. I don't hate Mag. Our team didn't work, but he's a bit of a client though. Like we were living in that apartment, and there were like a few of us sharing a room. Like a couple of us sleeping in the same room, and he'd wake up before all of us, walk in, and just turn a hairdryer onto max every morning, and just wake us all up.
Doesn't he have like a shaved headphone?
Yeah, he does. No, he does now. He had more hair then.
Oh, okay.
But that was like there's some generational clienting out there, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's really unfun to play on a mixed roster when so much of it's happening in the other language. Shockingly.
Don't start, Chrissy. I'm moving on to the rest of the NBA. Also, a lot of changes. PEPS have gone through what just becomes another day in the office for Fefe and the PEPS squad, where all of their players get picked apart. Tread goes to Gen.G, Cookie goes to Vision, Ken goes, missing, and they have to replace half of their roster again. So Zerion and FD God stay, and Willis, Dip, and Zorro all come in, and obviously this is the cycle for PEPS, right? They have their players, they get picked up by sort of bigger organizations, and they have to replace again. But I like all of these signings. I feel like you want to talk about new generation of talent or anything like that. All three of these players, I feel like, were some of the most promising individuals on some of these bottom OWCS teams. So I'm actually quite excited for this PEPS team. Yeah,
I agree, and I think it also lets them keep PEPS has actually kind of had an identity throughout, right? Like I think they like to play a specific style of comp, and I feel like these changes, the Renegade can keep coaching the same style.
Keep renegading.
I think it's true. I think this team isn't going to make LAN, but I think they're never going to make LAN. It's just one of those things. I think I could see something similar happening where they start strong, they maybe upset one of the salaried rosters, and then in the off season, one or a few of these players get to jump up next. I think, I agree. I think PEPS is pretty consistent in what they do, and I got time for it.
Yeah, I think they feel the same. A little bit, yeah, but not like enough to compete
Not
with
like a minimum wage.
They'd get outbid.
Yeah.
They'd get outbid by any like full
Yeah,
salary
yeah.
org essentially.
I feel like they feel
Except for
they feel
Soon,
really.
he's on 6K.
Is that real? Because I heard soon that
No.
was getting paid like a massive packet, but it's actually
6K.
bullshit. Is
Heard it's
Chris just
10K.
lying?
Be true.
He's on 6K.
I don't know. I have no idea. But I think
6K
tell whether this
total
is
over
true.
12 years or something.
yeah, he's signed until the day he dies. Like
He's got one of those
I-
Chelsea salaries.
yeah,
It's
I
a
think
French
Peps and Nightmare kind of feel the same place in the ecosystem, right? I think it's just harder for Peps because there's more money being pumped into EU because of the Saudi side. Like Nightmare can operate on a budget and still have really competitive rosters, but the amount of salary, there's like way more salary teams in EU, like compared to, there's like 5 or 6 in EU and only like maybe, how many in NA? Like 3? 2 maybe? So, I mean, but it's a nice place to exist as like a smaller rogue, I think. It's more of like a feeder, like you still get your competitive showings and then you still get to exist in the ecosystem. Because I think most of the smaller rogues kind of faded out in EU. Like you think of like EXO, right? There's maybe like the main one. Where it's like they couldn't find a place. Chris's
I
favorite
mean,
team.
they came at the king, but they
They
didn't
went-
hit me in the head. And if you don't hit
They
me in the
missed?
head, and then you better not miss. And they missed.
Yeah, but maybe it was harder for EXO because they had like they don't have the French the French fans and the French core to keep them going. Like you're really right about Peps, but they have Renegade, FD, Zerion, and they just build like the same type of team every season and just cycle it, and it works pretty well for them. So
Yeah,
good for
and
them.
they get like
Same with the
consistent
Soon
boot
signing,
camps
right?
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like,
Yeah, like they've
there's
boot
lots of
camped this season.
positives. Yeah.
And then last couple of rosters, we've got Anomaly, who are now playing under Goud Guys. This is for Croc's team. Now I've also had to make a couple of changes. So SXJ and Keo come in here. Obviously Keo and Croc's reuniting. Newly promoted team. So I think they're going to probably follow the path of most newly promoted teams, where it's going to be really hard. But I feel like it's saying this every time he comes up, but really like Crocs. Enjoy listening to him. Enjoy watching him play. So I'm excited to have him back, and I'm sure they'll have like what's the word? It'll be fun, even if they're gonna struggle maybe in terms of like actually getting results.
yeah, I think they could upset teams for sure. I think they have. You don't think so?
Yeah, they can win a few maps, but I mean, I think to be honest, I think EU is like take the Premier League. The teams that go up are just gonna
Top
go back
6.
down because
Maybe,
yeah. I feel like
think these
Vision will
guys-
take over TU's spot as like an existing team, and then I don't know. I suspect that these two teams will get relegated again, but
Maybe, but I quite like Anomaly. I think they have. I mean, it's like a Crocs classic where he always has his own like unique style, you know. And
Wait,
I hate
play the
playing
video,
against
Alpha.
Crocs.
Sorry. While it's on the background, you never put the audio on, but just play the video because they did like a little promo thing where they did like a Crocs press conference type thing.
Oh yeah, this is good. Yeah, I feel like Crocs always has his own unique style, you know, like the individual style. I think, like, I don't know how to say it, but I feel like Keo and Crocs are both like the same player in 2 different roles. So I think they complement each other well. So I think they could upset some teams. this video is good.
So much
see
time
this,
for
like,
Crocs actually.
I'm fucking with this actually. This team's staying up. I've seen enough. They're staying up. They've convinced me.
For it. I got too much heart.
Yeah, too much heart to go down.
I've actually lost the art of roster announcements.
It's a French carry because Pep's roster announcement.
Did you see the
was pretty
Peps
cool
one?
as well,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, Pep's
I really
was
like that
good.
one.
This one was good. Didn't see too much about the Gen.G one, unfortunately, but we'll gloss over that.
What can you do? Oh, there it is. There's the boys.
Didn't include you in it though. They just pretended you were there all along.
They never officially kicked me. So I just had to tweet it out myself like a bum.
Then our final team in EMEA is Quick Esports, who are obviously essentially a third promoted team. So this team, I think, probably really wasn't planning on getting the spot or knew they were getting the spot until TU's demise was official. So probably the most recognizable players here are like Yoham, Skytor, Streba has been around this kind of bottom OWCS level before. But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to struggle. I don't think that's going to be any surprise, but I think, yeah, I mean, it's probably what you get to a certain degree when you're sort of like have to promote an extra team, but it will be what it will be. You know?
Is this their roster announcement?
Yeah.
This is all we got? This team's going down
Yeah.
for sure. This team's getting relegated. There's absolutely fucking no heart in this.
What a terrible position they were put in, though, where they got relegated. They had their entire roster picked apart, and then they just get the call up like right after they've lost all their good players, all the players that were in demand. Like, I kind of feel bad for them, but they share for the vibes, which I can respect.
Yeah, it's like a free shot, you know? Like, you didn't expect to get it, so you can just kind of play without too much pressure or too many expectations. So whatever you get will feel kind of good.
Yeah, should be nice. And I mean, it's some of their players' first OWCS, right? So I think it's a nice introduction for them.
Should we hit Northern America then? Because we've been doing a classic Uncoachable swindle again, where one Uncoachable member moves out of a job just to make room for another Uncoachable member to fill the slot. So Max steps down, jumps ship to NA Rivals Team Liquid as a content creator, and then you come in, Chris. Do you want to start with? I don't know if I feel like you've talked about it before, Max, about your decision to step down and move to content creation.
So do you want me to say it again? Like, you know,
Well, I'm asking. I can't remember if we did it on the podcast or not before.
I think we like glossed over it at some point. Maybe we talked about it for like a minute, but really, I mean, there wasn't all that much to say. I feel like I said it a million times before, but because I didn't do like some big dramatic post about it and did a piss take post with SSG, the narrative is forever fucked. That, you know, everyone's like, so many people come into my chat. Yeah, so many people come into my chat and try to like own me about it. You know, they're always like, you got fired from SSG. How does it feel to get cucked by Christopher? And it's like, it's all right. It feels all right. You know, like I quit the job. I recommended Chris. It feels all right. You know, I'm all good. But yeah, I mean, I just quit SSG because it seemed like it. You know, the stream was doing like really well this year because of all the viewership incentives that are absolutely destroying the creator economy. #flats, #king. So because my stream was doing so incredibly well, that was like a wave. Chris,
Is that not what he does?
No, he doesn't.
No, it's a pog.
Oh, he just holds
pog.
it.
Yeah, he just holds it.
Sorry.
He doesn't even do that anymore. I saw him salute himself the other day. He hit a big shout out. He saluted himself. It was insane. I'm obsessed. I'm completely obsessed. But yeah, like the stream was just doing really well because of all the drops and the viewership and whatever. So it was like, if my stream's bigger this year without me streaming than it was last year, it was really just a no-brainer. Like, it was already pretty neck and neck last year when I just started streaming and had had to build my viewer base from scratch, and it only continued to grow this year. So it seemed really silly to keep being involved in the competitive side when the competitive side pays fuck all, really, and takes a lot of time and causes a lot of stress. You know, like, I'm already losing enough hair. I didn't really want the stress of not making a fucking third LAN. So yeah, just gave that a miss.
What time is an NA scrim for you? Like, where you live?
That was fine. Like, the scrims were at like 8 in the morning or something. It was just like a really normal
that's not so
human
bad.
time. The weekends were the problem though, because it was like the whole theory of I'll do a normal job and wake up at 8 in the morning was completely thrown on its head by the fact that on the weekend, like when you'd have matches on Saturdays and Sundays, and it's like, yep, North American matches roll with EMEA's schedule. So have fun waking up at 3 in the morning every Saturday, you fucking moron. Like, you thought you were going to have a regular job? Just kidding, because you have to wake up at 2, 3 in the morning to be awake really early for the rolling schedule, just in case, and for the warm-up, and this and that and the other, because the matches are earlier than the scrims. It was just like, I don't know, the illusion of me being able to have a normal life in conjunction with the competitive job was exactly that. It was just an illusion, because even if my regular work schedule was normal and I could start at 8 and finish, you know, whenever, the mentally ill kids would stop messaging me on Discord, the matches on the weekends were just killing me. So I might as well co-stream during that time, make more money.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
You had some generational interactions on Twitter though by letting them say they fired you, so maybe it was worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it was all worth of that sweet dopamine, baby. You know, there's nothing.
I love Twitter likes. I actually love Twitter likes.
It feels so fucking. I might tweet something right now. Actually, let me look at Twitter and see if I can get anything out.
I'm really lonely right now. I'm gonna tweet.
I'm gonna tweet. Fuck Donald Trump. #.
Oh,
political part of the podcast.
Obviously, then Max's vacancy opens the door for a return of Chris. Was it a difficult decision for you, Chris? Obviously, SSG fairly confident they'll pay you on time and everything. So that was probably a big tick.
That was a factor. I'll be honest, that was a fine significant factor. Listen, I'm a competitive person, and I always want to play in the most competitive region and with the best teams. And if there's one thing I've been so consistent about on this podcast is NA is so much better than EU. Like EU is just full of like fucking sim cheese teams and one tricks, and I needed to get where the real teams played. So when I got the opportunity to play with some fucking real players, I had to jump on it.
You saw Lep and CJ and you were like, let me in! Come on, I need this.
I mean, that's NA, baby. This is what I need. I need competitiveness. I need a higher level of Overwatch than whatever the fuck EU's putting out, you know?
You made it.
Lucky with one tournament at EWC, one lucky roll, and apart from that, NA rolls them every single time. And I've been saying this. You can check back the VODs. I've been fucking saying this. But yeah, I mean, I think overall, I had like one or two options, but in the end, I kind of thought, well, SSG, they've always been good for the salary. Like, it's always come in when they said they're going to come in. It's one of those things where once you don't get that, you start to realize it is a really important part of a job is getting paid. Yeah. It's just like, you take it for granted, but then it's crazy. And yeah, so I felt like a no-brainer once I got the phone call.
What was the order like of... Were Kellen, Seeker, and Bliss already off the team by the time you were involved, or like what order did things happen in?
Yeah, I think the cull had happened before I joined in. You know, like I think it was remove who they felt they needed to remove, and then start looking for a coach and new players. So it kind of happened in that order.
So did that mean you got like choice, or how much choice did you get over the players, or were like, did it kind of already, it was already there?
No, it wasn't already there. Like I had to do elements of it. I had to do a lot of like the convincing when talking to certain players and stuff. But I wanted to just kind of like go with what Lenny and Chris wanted to do and stuff. And I kind of learnt my lesson that just don't overcook it and just kind of, yeah, just
don't build for roster yourself.
Yeah. I think it was fine. You know, like I think whatever you say about like this SSG team is kind of vanilla. You know, like there's no double flex supports, there's no imports, there's no nothing. It's just you got a main support, you got a flex support, you got a hit scan, you got a flex DPS, and you got a grand tank. You're very vanilla, you know. Like we're not pushing any fucking boundaries this time, you know. And as long as it doesn't roll into ball Gen.G Tracer meta, we're absolutely meta proof.
You're actually so good for that.
As long as that doesn't happen, we're fine. So we'll see what the patch is like.
Nice, dude.
But you tried to sign a ball player.
Yeah, that's actually okay. We were saying this the other day. Fucking Blizzard cut us so hard by having rules which were clearly stated and we didn't read. Like it's actually so fucking bullshit. Like, they're just trying to hold us back already. Like it's insane how much the establishment wants to keep me down. Because we had fucking Qadsiah on our roster right now. Honestly, it would be lights out. Even for the Koreans, they'd be cooked. You know, Crazy Raccoon would be getting dominated.
How did you end up with Qadsiah on your roster?
Well, we were under the impression that you needed to retain free players, and that was it. Like that's what we thought. As long as you retain free players, then that's all you need to do. So we were looking at it, and it's like the same sort of thing in a way that like Alcad did with Chase, where it's like, well, what's the only hole in the roster is like just like this classic like, main tank role. I think, to be honest, I'm not sure like we had like too much intentions of playing Cardi. Like I think he was just like a sub, and then if the meta does happen, then he can play.
Chips a roll.
Yeah, and then the meta did happen, and he couldn't play. But that's Gabby.
That is Gabby, as usual. So I don't think we're going to see any double flex DPS, dive tank, any double flex support metas. Hopefully just some diva.
Gen.G Trace is never meta, so we should be all right.
Agree.
It's kind of a shame for Qadsiah, actually. Like, to be honest, I think I agree with the rule. Because if the rule didn't exist, it means you could change 4 of your starting players, right? And does it not feel a little bit egregious to keep the spot if you just change 4 of your 5 players and then you keep a couple of people on the bench to like cheat the system. That feels like more of a misuse of the rule. Even though in this particular scenario, what's really happened is a sort of young player's been denied an opportunity on like a bigger team as a result. But I feel like the rule actually makes sense more times than it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the rule was stated. We didn't read it. Just that's
how it goes.
Yeah. Did you submit the roster and then they knocked it back like a while after the fact?
Yeah, it was like it took Blizzard a while to also realize their rules were like we submitted it. We did the roster announcement. We're okay, and then I got like a DM at like 7 p.m. sometime. By the way, your roster's illegible, and I thought, well, that's not good news. Like I'm really worried about that message. And then I looked into it, and it was like, oh well, okay.
It's probably the best case scenario at that point, though. That's Cardi fan. Imagine they say your roster's ineligible and they pick someone else. Like, we could
have been.
You got to pick, right? Trouble. You could have kept Cardi and kicked someone else.
You could have kicked Hawk in theory. Could have done it. If I see which way the tide was going, I could have done it.
But I think
if you'd seen a few of those career maps where it had just been ball only, maybe it would have been a different decision.
No, it's a Roadhog world. It's a Roadhog world. At the end of the day. I think it's a good rule. Like I feel like a lot of like casual fans complain about how often rosters change, and so that's why they can't like commit to the esport. It's like the rosters change every stage or whatever. So I think you need it, but it's a bit of a problem to follow the rules when you don't read them, I guess. So
I mean, what can I do?
I don't know.
I feel like if we were saying this about EXO, Chris, your immediate answer would be, well, you should read the
Well, of course. But if I then tweeted out like an absolute fucking client about how unfair this was, then yeah, you guys could have flamed me. But I said it, yeah, I didn't fucking read the rules. So that's just it, like that's the limit of it. I can be a fucking client, but it's the lack of self-acknowledgement to recognize that you're a client, which is true client behavior,
I was on EXO at that time. It was a generational Twitter argument to read between like all three of our managers and then just you. It's like just carrying like 3 arguments at once.
I could do more than 3.
Would that have meant you would have been on a team with Mag like a year earlier as well?
Yeah, it actually would have. Maybe it's like
the universe is pushing the two of you together.
Gravitational pull.
Mikanel and Mag is just like it's like the string. It's like that theory where there's like an invisible string between 2 people. It's just Mikanel and Mag being like
slingshot theory.
Surely not slingshot.
The one.
No, that was an insane time when we were gonna pick. I actually forgot all about that. It's like blipped out my memory that we were gonna get like Mag and Spectra. I'm sure that would have been great. Sure, I can only imagine good things from that roster.
I can just only imagine because Mag was going to live in Scotland, right? Just in like one of the managers' like spare rooms or something.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Scotland, but he was going to live with one of our managers.
I just imagine Mag with none of his English skills in Scotland, just having a horrendous time trying to fit in. The Red Thread of Fate.
True. Yeah, that one.
Good work, Alpha.
Yeah, it's like the one true love. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is after all.
There's always next year. But yeah, I think overall, a lot of the changes make sense. Iconic seems like an obvious choice given his recent performances. Hawk one, maybe that's the big question mark, right? People like Hawk versus Painkiller in terms of the decision there. Because it feels like in many ways Painkiller would have felt like the sort of natural like step up from Nightmare to SSG.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was really close between like the 2 of them and stuff. I don't know, I just we felt that his hero pool was maybe slightly wider in certain aspects, and I think there is a peak to Hawk where if he plays at the level that he did, then it will be okay. I think I said this in the secret interview we did the other day, but I think people think Hawk has been out of Overwatch longer than he has. Like I think he played in season 1 of OWCS. He was at EWC. He was at whatever the first land Dallas was,
Dallas,
right?
right?
Like he was
Yeah.
he was there for the vast majority. It's hardly that he's been out like Twilight was, you know.
He still grinds as well. That guy puts
Yeah,
in
he
like
plays
1,000 ranked games a season.
plays all the time. And I think from the first week of scrims, I think his level's absolutely fine. Like I really have no worries that he's like anywhere close to washed up or anything like that. Like I see him doing like the 30 diva performances and stuff. So yeah, I think it's I've really no worries about that.
Is he good at Hazard? I feel like that's a hero he would be good at.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he honestly his hero pool is just really fine. It's just a lack of ball. So that's Winston really, which is, I mean, obviously ironic at this moment in time, but I don't think it like not having a ball player is a death sentence really. I think it's okay.
Elsewhere, Team Liquid, pretty minimal moves, just followed the path of a lot of teams. Just removing the Korean, and they'll just play with a 5-man roster. I don't know exactly how they've registered it. I presume Danny or someone just becomes the pretend 6th man to meet the rule criteria. But maybe no surprises here. It always felt like Knife was a little bit shoehorned into a lot of the things Team Liquid were trying to do. And in reality, especially with Tree, I feel like their roster's built really well to be a 5-player roster. So Knife, as soon as Zero came in, Knife always felt like a little bit superfluous as far as players go.
Yeah, makes sense.
Agree.
I think Tree and Zero especially, right? Like that's like the most flexible DPS line you can get, more or less. I think maybe they don't have some of the like more like sim heroes and that in them, but you don't really need those. Like I feel like those heroes are kind of like min tanks, where if you don't have them, you don't need them. It's like you're not going to miss them really. You can always work around it. So I think
it'll cost you at
fine.
OWC, but their time in the sun has come and gone. So now it's back to real heroes, non-cheese for a real region. So NA will be back on top for sure.
Without a fucking doubt about that.
I'm sure that Kev.G would team with the Diva players will be shit too. Like,
absolute shit. EU is bums. Dog shit.
I mean, they are Euros.
Elsewhere, Nightmare in the PEPS situation, basically, where big old money bags Chris turns up, takes all their best players, and they are forced to adapt and overcome and replace. So they lose Chronic and Lep to SSG. They bring in Seeker and Nenwai. They also get Squid, who kind of goes from a backup position on SSG to maybe a backup position. I guess I don't know exactly where he'll fit in terms of sort of playtime with Luke. But yeah, so it feels like they've kind of done the PEPS thing as well. They've just sort of taken the best pieces from the other teams they could. Or from the available free agents. So it feels like the team's worse, right? Like, I think can't understate how much Chronic did for this team. I think Nenwai's a good signing. Excited to see them on like a more like a step up, into this sort of like top half of North America team. But it does feel like they're not to write Nightmare off again, but it does feel like this time Nightmare will be outside that top 3 position.
It's a top 2 position now, right? Even?
No, top 3.
Oh yeah, they changed it. Sorry.
It's China who only have 2 slots.
Yeah.
I think they'll be close to competitive. Like I think it depends. Like I don't think Seeker's level is like so far beneath Chronic to the point where like they've downgraded tenfold. Like I think this roster is still pretty good actually. I mean they have like the sub in the tank position, so they actually do have like a ball player and they can do double flex. So I think this roster is actually like, I think our game in week 1, I think it will be really competitive, and like I think they will probably push whichever team ends up like for that 3rd spot. Probably isn't good enough to win it. I think that's probably a fair statement, but I think this team could sneak out a qualification for LAN again. The level of NA is insane. Like compare this to a team like Gen.G, it's just so much better, I was
going to ask you, would Nightmare beat Gen.G?
Nightmare would slaughter Gen.G. I think we could all agree on
that. Yeah. I'll see how it is. I don't know. I feel like Nightmare and PEPS really are like similar position, right? Where they always pick up like they just like funnel up the next like best up and coming players, and they always build like a similar roster, which is based on like working well and improving fast. And it just seems like I feel like as a player, that's a really nice place to improve. Like you're on a team where you're competitive, but you don't have any expectations. Cause like you're like the unsalaried, like up and coming underdogs, whatever. It's like a really nice way to be. Like it's kind of the situation we were in EXO last year. Like obviously because it was like TMNs and SSG all salaried, then we were just kind of like chilling, and it really lets you play like your own game. You know, you play with no stress and you get to play to your strength. So I think Nightmare could. I think they could top 3 again. Wouldn't be surprised.
Then we'll keep
Agreed.
moving through. Oh, go on. Yeah. Lots of moves in North America. The bottom sort of 4 teams have all shuffled quite a lot. Sakura have made significant changes. So Clear, Peace, and Cinnabar out. I don't have a full Clear story, but I think it was a very last minute change of mind to go from Sakura to is it Nosebleed for teams called in Pacific to A Team in Pacific? I think they're called Nosebleed. I'll go on.
I don't know the story there, but I feel like I can guess it just because Pacific actually has like a shot at qualifying for the LAN, whereas like if Clear stayed with Bleed, he wouldn't have a shot. Oh, or rather, if Clear stayed with Sakura, he wouldn't have had a shot. Because Pacific and Japan altogether, they actually can qualify for the international major. Yeah. There's like and at the bare minimum, he's going to get to go to a LAN if the team performs half decently. Because if you come top 2 in PAC or top 2 in Japan, you get to go to a LAN in Korea to qualify. And I think one team coming out of that LAN will qualify for the international major, if memory serves.
That's correct. Yeah.
But yeah, like just getting to go to an international LAN, getting to go to Korea for an event versus not. That's a huge difference, and I think Clear's probably seen the writing on the wall at this point that he's not cracking the top 3 in North America by staying on that Sakura roster. It's not like that team was ever dog shit. You know, that team was always punching up, always having some decent performances, but they also were never cracking the top 3. You know, they were never really cracking the top 4 at the end of the day, no matter which way you sliced it. So it feels very reasonable for him to move somewhere where, even if it's not a better region, even if the competition's worse and the hours are a bit funky, like at least you get something out of it.
Yeah. Valid decision, I think.
To be fair to Sakura Vola, I actually like quite a lot of their signings. They put in Zomba, PDK, and Natsuki, so you know, 3 out, 3 in. And actually, I think as far as like maybe similar to PEPS in some ways, where we talk about like maybe Dip and Zoro having some of the sort of better performances of those bottom EMEA teams. I feel like Zomba and PDK are actually in the same kind of boat in North America here. Where actually this DPS line looks really exciting. And all of a sudden, I feel like I put Sakura very much at the sort of, again, top of the bottom, like the closest team to that sort of Nightmare, SSG kind of area as well. So I'm actually quite excited to see this team. I think like Zomba and PTK could do like quite a lot.
Yeah, I think they get some scrappy upsets for sure. I mean, Zombas looks like I mean, also I don't watch DPS player POVs, but I've heard a lot of things about Zomba and Tracer, and from playing like I've played with them a few times as well. Like it's the real deal. I think they could use that as a really good like strength and pull some good upsets off.
Yeah, maybe like one of the question marks is obviously with Clear leaving, Zeb is going to move into like a solo tank position. So maybe there's some question marks around, you know, we've all seen like Zeb play Orisa and do really well, but like there'll be some hero pool questions around that depending which way the meta's turning at that point in time. But I think actually one of the more promising teams here, Sakura.
Mm-hmm.
Then Extinction, significant swaps as well. They lost Somba, they lost Nenwai, Wub retired, or I guess moved to Rivals, I think it was. Tools also leaves, and they bring in King, Vision, and Alba. So Vision, not as in the entire Team Vision team from EMEA, but Vision as in the North American player, just for anyone who thought they were cheating the rules somehow. King coming in from his successful sort of promotion campaign with the Crocs team, and Alba coming and joining this team after leaving Team Vision. So, yeah, I don't know. This is the team also with like Hitori and everything, probably, and Scuffed will still be playing. So, I don't know. I feel like this team probably, they've been 5th and 6th, I think, both times, and I feel like they're probably just going to be 5th and 6th again with these changes. I don't think it really moves them or makes them any scarier, really.
Yeah. Who are the promoted teams? NNA. I don't really follow that. Are they good?
It's the same teams. They bounce back. So Dilducks are back again, but minus PDK. And Supernova are back, but they're also not going to be called Supernova anymore. But it's the same core of players like Astro and Ryan and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably just pretty clear 5th, 16 then, I guess, Extinction. Trying to go up a slot, maybe.
Yeah, I think whatever Supernova end up being called will be the closest one to them, because they lost False and Renko, who are also going to Marvel Rivals. Sam and Grapes are also off the roster. I think they wanted to keep Grapes, but his internet is too bad to play Overwatch.
I actually get it. That used to be me.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I think Grapes is in a Gabby situation.
That is
so
actually Gabby.
So Hanbei and Cinnabar are going to be the new backline, and Peace comes in as well. So I think this team and Extinction probably pretty close for it. You know, obviously, if you've ever watched the stream when Ryan is playing, there's no secret that we're pretty big fans of Ryan on the stream. So I quite like this team. I hope they do well, but I still think they're in like around that Extinction Sakura type level in the bottom half.
Yeah, poor Grapes. I actually feel for him. It's actually such an enormous nerf to start to like spawning in a place with terrible internet. I used to play contenders on my mobile data, like my 4G. It's actually insanely hard. It's actually insanely hard.
And then Ducks make a couple of changes. Juice comes in essentially to replace PDK as the main one in all of that. But I think the Ducks are very much it's the same vibe as last time. I think their plan is to not really scrim, except for the week where they play PDK, and then they're going to try really hard to beat PDK, which is really fucking class, actually. So much time for that. What are friends for, huh? Yeah.
That actually has generational social aura, though. Like the amount of shit that team gets up to on Twitter is they're leaving such a mark. You mark more than teams are like more successful. You know, I have time for the Dilducks. Big fan.
It's hard to hate on the Ducks, to be honest, especially when you hear stuff like that, you know? Like, you got PDK, he knows that the P in his name stands for prospect. He decides he's going to leave, look for greener pastures or pinker pastures, I suppose. But, you know what? The whole team, they're like, fuck it. We refuse to make an effort, no matter what. But if we're going to go up against you, now that you've had the audacity to leave us, we'll fucking give them hell. But, I mean, to be fair, they did say, I remember they said in stage 2, like, we're going to try, we're going to scrim. 2 scrims deep. Fuck this. Like, just
like a New Year's resolution style. You know what? I'm gonna start going to the gym every day, I reckon.
Is there just like, I mean, I don't watch NA circuit, so I'm not flaming anybody, but is there just like an insane drop off in quality between like the top 6 and the rest? Because the top level of EMEA Masters is actually competitive. You know, there's like a competitive tier there, but for Dilducks to go 0-8, not scrim, troll, like I saw they were playing troll comps as well in the promotion, and then come back up. Like,
that's because like a talent huge there. Dilducks would destroy PEPS. Like, that's a fact. Like, it's like top 16 NA would all make top 6 for you. At least.
Yeah.
The promotion relegation was like an insane scrap with like was it what they called? Was it Dreamland and Emote Down Mid?
Right?
Maybe.
Oh,
and Yab. Oh yeah, Emote Down Mid I think would like just miss like the 3rd team in Face It playoffs maybe. And that was the Kai team if I'm remembering right.
Weren't the Ducks like better than all of those teams? Didn't the Ducks kind of blitz through and it was the last slot that was in contention, or am I delusional? Was it?
No. Supernova blitzed through pretty comfortably. But then the Ducks the Ducks lost their first game 3-2 to it was either Dreamlight or Yab. They go down to lower bracket. I think they win like a map 5 in the lower bracket, if I'm remembering right. So they had to sort of... My memory of it is they scrapped it out and PDK had to do generational things to get them through some of those games.
I swear that Baz guy's him. Like, Baz is actually like sleeper insane. Not him, all right? I might be stretching the truth a little bit, pushing a bit of a narrative, but like actually surprisingly quite good for a player that I don't think I've ever like noticed in any ranked game or anything like that. But that Baz guy was just running it. I swear it was Baz and PDK doing God's work while RedX is just like consistently earning his privilege to be either in the Brazen Bull or drawn and quartered every single time. Like,
that's rough.
It wasn't a good day at the office with poor RedX in that qualifying game from memory.
All right, yeah, I found it. So they lose 3-2 to Dreamland. Dreamland was like the Pella team, if you remember them. Then they play Young and Beautiful. They win 3-2 in that lower bracket game to keep themselves alive. So yeah, they were 2-1 down in that lower bracket game against Yab, which was the Juice and AST team, Pirates brother. And then they actually 3-0 Dreamland in like the rematch fixture. So yeah, they actually had to dogfight their way through this quite a bit.
Fair play. They deserve it. Good for the Ducks.
Big up the Ducks.
Can't keep a good duck down. Then Korea probably quite minimal changes in terms of the big teams. Maybe the biggest news in Korea is a team that haven't added any players, but are hiding one of their players somewhere. Falcons register with 6 players. They don't add Stalker to the roster. They don't bring Majid back.
What?
So
So beast.
it has it has so much more aura if Majid replaces Stalker, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's just like a more fun. There's just more to that. So that's the big news. Obviously, Falcons off the back of their EWC win. Don't even register Stalker for OWCS. So obviously it very much felt like Stalker was on the outside of the team since he didn't even travel to the tournament with the team. But now, if you weren't convinced he was maybe out of the team, he's really out of the team now, as they've not even registered him for some kind of emergency situation here. So it feels like there's been a complete breakdown, I guess, in internal relations between Stalker and the rest of the gang.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. It's fucking funny that like immediately after this, it's Gen.G Tracer, because like that team would have been pretty solid at Gen.G Tracer. That might not be a hot take, but that might have been a decent DPS line for it. They might have been able to take it to Kevin.G with.
Mid.
There has to be a conspiracy in here somewhere where some teams knew about the patch and some teams didn't. Because you see, like Crazy Raccoon spawn in this like 18-year-old bottom team flex DPS player on their roster, and Falcons magically drop Stalker. There has to be something going on.
I see comments all the time of like, oh, why didn't you just register your other flex DPS player, you fucking idiots? Like, it's clear, if you can't read between the lines, that there is like, this is not a decision because Stalker isn't good enough, you know? Like, this is
He
clearly
failed the
not
trial.
this is not what's happening here, you know? Like, clearly it's fucking cooked, you know? Something in terms of that team relationship between players, coaches, someone, presumably Stalker is one of the pieces that's at war. This is clearly all that's happening. Like every single time they're like, oh, fucking idiots, you should have just like, oh, we should have brought Stalker, should have brought for the season, it would be useful. Like, no, like it's clearly not what's fucking happening here. And yeah, no one knows, well, I suppose some people know, but I don't know exactly what's happening, but I think you can make a semi-educated guess that things are not all rosy behind the scenes.
I saw that's been known. I saw that like nothing has ever really fully come up. So there's always been whisperings of Falcons like players hating each other and internal issues.
Which stage 2 was weird anyway, right? Because there was already this sort of proper going out for a while, then Stalker coming in, then proper coming back in, right? So it's not like, you know, in between all of these issues, they did win the Esports World Cup, so that probably helps quieten a lot of the rumours for a while when you win a major.
That was a real nail in the Stalker coffin, to be honest. I was lifting that trophy. That was really hard to get your spot back at that stage, you know?
Poor guy.
But like, these issues have been there.
True.
Yeah, Magic touched it before Stalker first.
Yeah. Golden hands over there.
But it feels like this has been brewing for a while, and they've already had a bunch of issues getting the roster on the same page, getting everyone willing to play, and this just seems like it's finally come to a head, and they've just pulled the plug. Not even registered Stalker, and he'll just wait it out until stage 3. I don't know exactly. My presumption, I'm not sure of this, but I'm pretty sure the Falcons were originally on 2-year contracts, so I think they all, in theory, end, unless anything's been extended in the meantime, at the end of this year anyway.
Can we just respect Stalker as a player and as a human, please, and let him go to the opposition after, contracting him?
Yes. Oh yeah, this narrative of Falcons at Falcon. So for those who haven't had the misfortune, I guess, of seeing this on social media or Reddit or wherever, the sort of question is, why are Falcons keeping him hostage? He's so bloody good at Overwatch. They should let him play. Set him free. Let him enjoy himself. But welcome to the real world. You sign a contract that says you will play for this team and represent this team for 2 years. And then you're in a situation where Falcons still have however many months are left on the contract, and is one of the best players in the world. Therefore, if Stalker was to leave the team, the interested parties would be Crazy Raccoon, Zeta Division. It's a similar situation to Kev, right? Anyone who has an Overwatch team is interested in this player. So if you let Stalker go, he's going to massively upgrade whatever team he touches, especially some of these positions, with like Lip being away for a couple of weeks, or Zeta at a third flex DPS. I mean, it can't hurt. But like he's a massive upgrade, right? So everyone's going to want him. So why would Falcons sacrifice their contract with a player to massively help one of their big rivals going into the final stage of the year?
Yeah.
Love and respect and honor.
I feel like you see this so often, like literally you see this 24/7. You see people like the wider community talking about Overwatch, they never ever consider like perspective on things. It's like, oh well, Stalker's really good. He probably Stalker wants to play. These people are awful because they don't let him play. But like, I wouldn't want to play against Stalker and Crazy Raccoon, man. Like, I don't think anyone wants to do that. I don't know. I mean,
bizarre.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If it had happened this way, right, and Falcons just go, you know what, Stalker, mate, cheers for the good times. You can leave for free. Why don't you go join Crazy Raccoon? We'd all be sitting here going, are Falcons fucking stupid? Why have they let Stalker go join their biggest rivals and they've not even got some kind of paycheck out of it? What a stupid fucking move. They've sabotaged themselves with this.
That would be almost as self-sabotaging as not putting Stalker on the roster and then rolling a Tracer Gen.G medi when you have the best Gen.G and the best Tracer on your roster at the same time.
That's pretty generational.
Look, sometimes it's just Gabby, Max, okay?
Just Gabby.
It's actually so Gabby. Honestly, I feel as if we should start reaching out to 9K again, because the window of opportunity for a good time to be on the podcast is rapidly closing.
I thought it would be okay. They won the major. Surely he'll be willing to talk. Oh.
Well, now, unfortunately, they've lost a regular season match, so it's over.
No, guys. Sorry, mate. It's just tough times at the moment, okay?
I saw a good thing on Twitter where it was like, proper when they win. I'm him. I'm the GOAT.
I saw that.
And then proper when I lose. And it's like a screenshot of one of his like little essays on Twitter. And it's like, I think I'm going to kill myself. It's just terrible. So bad.
Emotion swing final boss. And it's like just lose access to his own Discord. I saw it all happens in his Discord now. Like that channel is just like, it's like his two personalities just like pushing against each other in his announcements channel. Must be
ultimately
insane.
Winners don't like to lose. It's fair enough.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty bad for Falcons, and it feels like it just keeps on happening to old Merit, where he just keeps finding himself in these double flex DPS situations, and there's never a second flex DPS to help him out here.
Well, 9K must be absolutely buzzing that Qadsiah has been training his Tracer over the years, because that's going to come in handy now. They'll be ready for it.
Did they play double flex DPS in the match they lost? I saw they played Ram.
They didn't start it, but Merit was like on Reaper for a bit, on Tracer for a bit. So it felt like they tried to play the hit scan and then really felt they had to give up partway through.
Flora's gonna pull it through on Roc, get the Tracer out.
Come on, Skip.
As he's known to do.
Have you seen that everybody calls him Skip now, by the way? Like, just another successful spin for the Doctor.
I mean, that's your best spin. That one that's just like, it's just
the thing is,
everyone's got it.
The people on Reddit that watch the Japanese broadcast instead of us will still call him Skip. That's how you know the spin's good. You can hear in broken.
I've never got it. Why did you call him the Skip?
Because back in the day, like Sabiobli was the captain of New York Excelsior, and they passed the mantle. They passed the captaincy from Sabiobli to Flora when he went on the team. Sabiobli retired, so like he and Skipper is captain, obviously. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Changing of the guard.
That guy loves Tracer.
I mean, Skip used to be one of the best main. Skip genuinely used to be one of the best main DPS tracers. Like when Skip got into league, like other than Lip, obviously, who was significantly better than him from start to finish. Like there were heaps of main DPS players that just couldn't even touch the hero, right? Whereas like
Yeah.
Skip's benefit was the fact that he actually could flex the Tracer and not be a complete fucking robot. Unfortunately, people have only ever gotten better at Overwatch as time has progressed. So now all the main DPS can play a pretty decent standard of it, or the majority of them can.
Yeah. Poor
Yeah.
Zeta. I feel like Zeta, I don't know. Like Zeta's just eternally choked.
I mean, I saw a post today about how the Skip is actually like significantly more likely now to make a land compared to when he was on Zeta.
I mean, yeah, he probably will. He's on Roc,
It's
right?
like a 50-50 for him, right? It's just Roc versus CC. When it gets to go to LAN, loser doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it feels bad for Team CC. You know, they got the 2 lands in, but now Skip's over there, and God, it's genuinely going to be like if Roc makes it to the LAN, it's because Flora carried them, and isn't that heartwarming? You know, Flora got to be the man that took his team to a tournament for the first time ever in his entire career, probably.
Yeah.
Don't forget, though, both previous times over in China, Roc Esports have come in as favourites. They've won the upper bracket game, only to ultimately lose the lower bracket game to Team CC and finish third. So it's never unrockable. So rest of the changes for Zeta is they brought in Mag and Bliss, and Probe has also come in. So Probe a like-for-like swap for Flora, Bliss a like-for-like swap essentially for Violet, even though Alpha Yi had to take up the mantle. So Alpha Yi has returned to flex DPS just in time for a Tracer Gen.G meta, so not too bad. And Mag comes in to fill out that sort of classic main tank to go alongside Bernard's hero pool here. They've actually played their week 1 games already. They went 2 maps down to Cheeseburger. If you don't know who Cheeseburger are, that's super reasonable, honestly. A newly promoted team in Korea. Maybe Faith. Some of you will know Faith. Chrissy will know Faith.
I know Faith.
Farmer as well, from actually his misadventures on Zeta Division. But unfortunately, Cheeseburger couldn't close it out. Zeta Division were able to recover from that. And then they played, I forgot, it was earlier today. Was it Old Ocean they played today? And it was a super clean 3-0 actually for Zeta.
Yeah, I felt like they just needed, for whatever reason, they needed convincing that double flex DPS was meta, even though you would think they would be like on that. But I felt like once they did kind of, oh shit, this is, this meta, which is insane for us. Let's play it. And then once they start playing it, I mean, maybe no team in Korea is actually happier to see this meta as it is right now than this team, I think.
Or T1. I feel like T1 are really down for it as well.
No, surely not.
So?
Like
Dive tanks, double flex support.
Yeah, I mean, dive tank is obviously useful, but I feel like Pelican Alpha E might really be
Maybe they might do
the best at this meta.
Are they still playing Bliss on
take?
Kiri?
It's not right. It's really.
I don't know. In the modern day, I have no idea. You're probably right. I don't follow Korea.
I think it's reasonable. I think like Spint and Heesang kind of enter into the equation into this as well. But I think Proud I think falls into the category of one of the hit scans who has a better Tracer. But I think Proud won't match up when it comes to now you have to play Alpha E or now you have to play Heesang or something.
I mean, they have Zest and Viper, right? On T1?
Oh yeah, they can do Zest and Viper. Yeah, I guess I'm not as convinced by Viper, but
it's fair enough. I don't know. Were Zeta still playing Bliss on Kiri when they were winning? Because I saw them losing on that to Cheeseburger.
Pretty sure they didn't win when Bliss was on Kiri. That guy, he was just dead every fight now. Didn't they lose that map?
Yeah, they did. And then they started playing Lucio, I think, and then they reverse swept.
Yeah,
they won the Wuyang map where Bliss played that, but on the Esperanza where it was Finn on Wuyang and Bliss on Kiri, that one was a real disaster.
Yeah. I don't really see the thought process.
Yeah. I think overall, I feel less good about Zeta going forward than I feel so good about T1 as a team to get top 3 now. Wait, is it 3 or 4 Korean teams that go? Just 3?
3.
Yeah. I feel so good about T1 that I don't know. I still don't see it, Like I don't look at these. I don't know if they've upgraded or downgraded or side graded, but it feels like ever since Violet left that roster, they haven't had the same.
They lost the X
aura.
Factor.
And I mean, I watched the first game, and fucking Bliss looked really fucking poor at the start of that series at the very least, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like that backline doesn't look strong enough to compete with the backlines in front of it.
I
Yeah, I
think
agree.
like Korea as a region is a region that always had. There's always been like really strong tank players, really loads of strong DPS players. And you look at all these sort of maybe even top sort of 4 or 5 teams, and they've all got good tank players and good DPS players. You know, like Wei aren't even signed, and it's Milgarl, Sunjin, and Aid. Like that's pretty fucking good as far as unsigned teams go. But the difference maker, I think, in a lot of these places is going to be the backline. You know, like who can get closest to like the Chio fielders versus Shu Churongs. And I think like Vigilante and Skewed make a really good case. And I think actually Maka and Lee Min are
Yeah, I was
closer
gonna say.
than this Zeta Division backline. So I think Zeta
Yeah.
Division maybe
Yeah, I
have
agree.
the 5th best backline in Korea. And I think ultimately that's probably going to be a roundabout where they end up finishing.
And I
Yeah,
think if Hitscan does come back, which presumably at some point in time it does, you know, like it's very much always been strong. And I think that team starts to even feel even harder done to compared to the teams around it.
I mean,
I thought Probe had a
it's
good
just-
stage too, to be fair.
I think he's fine, but like,
comparing him
is
to
he
the
a
people he's
superstar?
gonna beat,
Like-
you know.
yeah. I think it's proving really, really. It's really insane that they've picked up a 3rd main tank player that they're gonna probably just bench for Bernardo. Like, I'm not even flaming any of the players, but I swear Bernard's just really good. Like, I don't really see why they're so down to bench him. I played against him when they came for the LCQ. He's actually like, I've never seen someone hit so many 1-taps on Hazard. Like he actually he says he has the source, but they really seem down to bench him, which is strange.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of similar. We touched on it a bit. Like T1 added Jasmine to the roster, which in theory rounds out Donghack's hero pool. But I feel with both Jasmine and Mag, like I don't know, like we're just playing Donghack and Burner, aren't we? Surely,
Yeah.
like when we need
Probably.
it, like even if it's not the optimal meta, if there's another tank that Burner can play or Donghack can play, that's kind of viable. I think I just have to back that guy in the important games. So I feel like both, even though we're seeing Mag get a good amount of playtime now, like he gets to play a lot of ball, I think when it comes to it, they're just going to rely on Bernard in these situations.
Yeah.
But I agree with that choice as well.
I feel like all these extra tank signings are just giving you more opportunities to lose. That's all they're doing, you know? Like they're just giving you the option, oh, should I play this guy or should I limit my like superstar tank's playtime a little bit? Just giving you opportunities to make the wrong decision. And it's like Ziad should just play and Bernard should just play and Donghack should just play, I think. Unless you sign them with the knowledge that if they get ill or injured or something happens that you're going to play. I don't know. I feel it just gives you more opportunity to fuck it up.
I think it's a
If
slippery
Rush
slope.
starts playing Jasmine maps once a series and stuff, you just
Yeah, I mean, you need to manage it properly because I think it's so easy to start losing, and you go, okay, let's start subbing our players in and out. Because I think it's kind of cooked if you do that. Like you start losing and you start experimenting with your roster, it becomes pretty hard. It adds like an extra dimension of things you can fuck around with, you know? Like, I think it's already bad enough when you, like, you know those teams where it's like you lose and you swap the comp, and then you lose and you swap the comp. If you start losing, swapping comp and swapping roster, I feel like it gets pretty hard to actually improve. So I think it can be hard to manage sometimes.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of the Korean teams seem to have this tendency, right? Like Zeta Division have made a habit of signing and booting Winston players for a while now. T1 now getting in, but doing the Diva version. So yeah, I don't see him. I mean, to be fair, like I imagine it will just be the case where Jasmine might play a few maps, then eventually he just stops existing on the roster for all intents and purposes. You know, like Donghack will just play every map, so it won't make a huge difference type thing. So maybe it'll be like inconsequential. Like I don't like Jasmine doesn't really make T1 that much weaker. But
yeah, probably not. Can Donghack play Ram? I know he was like avoiding it like the plague at EWC. I don't know if Jasmine would play that.
I reckon he's good for it, mate.
Surely he can. If you can, it can't be that hard,
you'll
right?
make it work.
It's also disappeared now as well. So sometimes if you wait long enough, the problem solves itself.
It's true. Unless you're Falcons, they still love the Ram.
Yeah, it's worked great for them. Who'd they beat with that?
Was it onside, maybe?
Cheeseburger?
I think it was offside gaming.
Oh, no Callan though.
No Callan?
Callan wasn't in.
Oh,
yeah, Attack played all of these.
Oh,
Callan only got to play the Cum series.
Nice.
It was so cummy.
Elsewhere, yeah. So, I guess one of the Crazy Raccoon also made a signing. They signed Spint, who comes in perfect timing for a double flex DPS meta where he can just play his best hero Gen.G alongside Hesank on Tracer. And it's fair to say, Crazy Raccoon had two pretty tough games. They had Way and they had Team Falcons. And they weren't actually very tough at all. They kind of just smashed both teams. And Spin looked pretty good in the process. One thing I want to highlight actually about this as well, we talk about Falcons quite a lot in terms of, you know, why do all the press releases come through Proper's Discord, depending on what mood he's in. I actually feel like Crazy Raccoon have done the perfect example of how do you manage a situation that is quite delicate, right? Like one of your best players, one of your most famous popular players, Lip, wants to take 2 weeks break to try and reset, recover mentally, everything like this. And I feel like actually Pavan, Moon, everyone
What
came
they
out
do?
with
They
a
told
statement.
people.
They told people, they explained their reasoning, they were very clear about how long the break will be and what the role will be. Moon even did like a little bit of like I guess coach and finesse, almost sort of like playing Spint down a little bit, you know, like to try and like lower expectations for him. And then when he comes in and looks the part and they smash Falcons, everyone gets on the Spint train. So I feel like Crazy Raccoon have done a really good job outside the server, and yeah, inside the server's actually been really good too.
Yeah,
How
I feel like
about
maybe
as
Crazy Raccoon are maybe the only team that is it possible they didn't get lucky with the meta, is it's possible they created the meta, you know? Like
Yeah, probably true.
if you force a comp and you make it work, they probably were the ones that started to have this success first. And now the whole world, as the whole world always does, starts to follow. But yeah, the fact that it did work is also probably feels really nice for them, given the fact that Hitscan's on a little vacation. And then, all right, no worries.
I wonder when CR Edition is not fucking around and seeing how much they can gaslight people, because these guys had everyone playing Bull Sim Torb at some point. Like, surely they just start pulling out some outrageous comps, see what they can do.
Yeah.
We were on that personally. We were a big Bull Sim Torb team on Gen.G, the mighty Gen.G.
Krusty always got the information early on the career meta, and like I always knew what was
We were
there
always
in Korea
tapped.
because you would scrim Gen.G and they would be on it, and you was like, this comp's weird. Are they trolling? And they realized it's fucking Korean meta.
VP were fleming the fuck out of us for playing that comp the first time we played it against us. Like they were just typing up, as they normally do, typing up a storm because we're playing, like saying why we're playing Bull Sim Torb. And then I saw them on Sim Torb in like a week.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Also, Way have gone to be an AGAL. No, they went to be an AGG, then to AGAL, and now they are back to Way, but WAE. If anyone likes letters, that's good news. But it's basically the same team. They've added Taejong, is the addition, but actually maybe pretty surprising for people is you would think Taejong would slot in perfectly, you know, start playing Tracer alongside Sunjin on Gen.G, but actually Ada's just been playing Tracer or Venture or whatever other flex DPS hero they need the entire time. Looked really fine in this game on our screens right now against Old Ocean. It didn't look as good against Crazy Raccoon, but maybe that's to be expected. So not really too many meaningful changes here, I think, or maybe it just feels more like a backup DPS if they ever need.
Yeah, I feel like with the rest of the teams that we've got to cover, it feels. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it feels like there's middling. It doesn't feel anything like super interesting. Hard to see any of these teams making like a really big run. Even Way, my feeling is that I don't know, after EWC, I'm kind of convinced that they've slipped back into that 5th place. Like they're going to be worse than the other 4, I think.
I think they
you think they'll be worse than Zeta? I feel like Zeta unironically downgraded its backline this stage. Like I'm not.
I think Zeta are like hard 5th. They're like the tier break. You know, like all these sort of teams.
I think Zeta will finish above them, but I could see it go either way.
I think Milgar is like better than Mag at these. Yeah.
What about Bernard though? You know.
Yeah, that's a reasonable shout, but I'd always back their ability to play Mag and throw a series that way. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm pretty sure I saw on Twitter that this team wasn't allowed. They wouldn't let this team be called Way, like the different spelling, and they forced them to change it. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
read
that
that
can't
too.
be true.
I just don't get it.
Whereas
don't
I
know.
feel like all that's happened, right, is they got pump and dumped by AGG, and then they had to fill in a form, and it would have just been the players and the coaches filling in a form where they have to submit their roster for stage 3,
Yeah.
right? And they were like, what should we call ourselves? And someone just said Way. Well, like, what about Way with an E, you know? So it's like Way, but it's different. And they just
They're
did
using
that.
the Way
and it's
jerseys.
not-
and
yeah,
everything.
they're using the J, the
Yeah.
Way with a Y jersey. So I feel like that's just information that seems to have come out of nowhere with no information, no like actual explanation of why it was because normally if you say you can't use that name, what happens when
Yeah.
you're told you can't use a certain name or a certain logo by Blizzard or by OWCS is they say you can't use this because of this. This is a this is the
Yeah.
part of the rule it breaks. So because you need to know that piece of information so you know what to change in the logo or name. So without that piece, it doesn't feel like there's much to the story. So I feel like they
Yeah.
just thought it was like half funny and then just did it, and they don't care that much because it's not like a real org or it's just a group of guys and a logo.
That's cool.
Maybe it's because
right?
maybe it's
Is it
because who are
actual
used
org?
on the team.
It's
No,
cool.
no.
Owns it.
Oh,
Does he-
maybe.
Like, but is
So,
it?
so maybe that's why they weren't allowed to use it. Gultech blocked them.
That's
Why does he let them use
no,
the jerseys,
but
then?
they're using the jerseys, right? So like it couldn't be.
I don't know.
But also when you say an org, do you mean like Gore-Tex not funding this thing? You know what I mean? Is he?
Or he was, I think.
I got no idea.
No, I think he was.
When you say, but like paying salaries and stuff, or like what's?
Not
What-
know about that.
Yeah.
Maybe he's given a couple of packs of ramen a week or something, but yeah, I'm not too sure.
Like I feel like if I buy you t-shirts, you guys don't work for me.
Oh, you're not
You know?
Korean, so
Good counterpoint.
I don't know. I'm
Maybe
just happy to be
can't call
proven
it-
wrong, but I'm skeptical of the
Yeah.
level of business, the level of enterprise that is going on here. But I don't have a business degree like Max, so I might be mistaken.
You can't call the team Way because who are you's not there anymore. That's what Way stood for in the first place. Maybe that's why it got that's why it got vetoed. I got no idea.
what do you mean by that? That's what Way stood for.
Who are you?
Way?
So yeah. So the team name stood for.
The initials.
Oh. That was their team name? Was that actually why they did
You!
that? Or
Got it. Yeah, I think so.
that's fucking nonsense.
I played with
I
the guy.
thought Gultech was trying to start a brand or something, you know? Like, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Max thought it was a business. It was just a play on words. It was an acronym.
God. Fuck, dude.
Let's get to the quiz. It's late.
Quiz?
No,
So,
no
yeah,
quiz. Sorry, no.
there's-
Oh.
But you can
The quiz too
tell.
much effort these days. No
Yes.
quizzes anymore. I was looking forward to that.
Infinitely too much effort.
I was looking forward to the quiz. That was heartbreaking.
The quiz was what does Way stand for, and so you've won the quiz, Crispy.
I won the quiz. Just 100% success.
The
rate.
competition
It's too
wasn't
easy.
fierce for it. Yeah. So yeah, elsewhere, Old Ocean return, a couple of newly promoted teams, but nothing all that interesting in Korea. I think none of these teams are going to get close to the top 5, even unless something crazy happens. So I also think there was the first week of action in Korea, but other than Zeta nearly losing to Cheeseburger, that's probably about as interesting as it got. I feel like it was actually a pretty boring weekend of matches. Go
I
on,
got
Chrissy.
an insane one that we didn't talk about. I don't know if you guys saw this, but do you see Edison is playing again?
Hey.
Oh,
I was fucking shocked when I saw him on the roster announcement. I thought this guy had been retired for a while, but good to see him back.
I couldn't believe that he deleted his tweet about that, you know? Like, just
Own
once a
it, you
Titan.
know?
Once a Titan, just own it, mate. Come on. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
For
You're on
the
pulse
viewers
as always.
Yeah, for the viewers at home, if you're unaware, Avast, Reject, the roster in Japan, tweeted that they had Edison and Kalios on the roster, and Avast tweets some shock type emoji of Edison quote retweeting, and I've replied to him. I seen it 2 minutes after it's come out. I replied to him being on the same roster he was on last stage, and guy deleted his tweet 30 minutes later. But I thought if you're clueless, just own it, mate. Come on.
Well, what can you do?
I mean,
Titans are going to do what Titans are going to do.
Exactly right.
And it's this kind of knowledge, which is why Max is king of Japan.
Yeah.
Competitive market.
So, do you want to go client of the week?
Yeah, it seems that point of the show.
Do we have? I mean, we can sort of tie. Do you want to tie in Avast since we sort of segued into it anyway? Give Avast a nod for deleting the tweet.
Yeah. A nod. He's not going to win, but he gets a nod for being a Titan.
Yeah. Is it Flats who's going to win?
No, I think he was right about what he was saying.
I think he's a bit too self-aware. I don't know.
I don't think he was right. I don't agree.
He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong.
I don't agree with him, but it is it does affect his income for sure. It's spreading it around more. I think that just isn't the conversation. The conversation is it good or bad? Not, I guess it's bad for him, but is it good for more people?
Yeah.
I also think the cheek of the idea that a content creator could fucking flame the competitive scene as if we've been we're just the golden child. Blizzard have just been shining love on the competitive scene and poor content creators. What do they ever get from Blizzard, they don't get early access to the patches or flown out to fucking Blizzard HQ once every. It's those pro players that just get everything from Blizzard.
Make 100 times the money,
Yeah, it's so tough to be a content creator compared to a pro. I'm so lucky.
That's why I decided to go content. It felt like it was.
You wanted more adversity to be in content.
Exactly. Yeah. I chose the maximum adversity route.
Well, I kind of ADHD brain skipped through the clip. Was his point that competitive Overwatch was making Overwatch content worse? Is that what he was saying?
He's saying that the drops programs were killing the creator economy because Flats is used to having a drops program start where he can launch the game and sit on a patch note screen for 15 hours a day and get 20,000 viewers for the entire drop set and make enough money to feed a small village every fucking day. But because they try to incentivize people watching OWCS and they give drops to people that watch OWCS, he said that it's killing the creator economy. Even though Overwatch has lots of dedicated streamers, it's just he's making more money in Marvel Rivals at the moment because they're pumping money into that shit.
They got loads of programs, I think, for that stuff. Yeah.
Killing the economy.
You guys watched the movie The Big Short?
I haven't.
Brilliant movie. Unreal. You know the moment where they realize it's a fucking bubble and that actually the housing market's about to collapse? I had this moment when Flat tweeted that I swear, I don't know if it's all streaming or just Overwatch streaming. It's all a fucking bubble. It's a complete lie. There's no one actually watches Overwatch. It's just people going for drops. Who fucking cares what any viewership number is if it's this influenced by just people AFKing for drops?
It is pretty insane.
How can we even make I swear Twitch can't even make money because it's all it is just AFK people being fed ads that they're not watching. At what point do advertisers realize that every number is either a view bot or a drop farmer and you're actually advertising to 4 people even though the number says 200? It's just all a lie. Twitch is just not true.
I remember explaining it to my wife, and I realized, as I was saying, it's I know this sounds quite dystopian, of I just stream, and half the people aren't there, and everything's just the TV screen's on, but nobody's watching, and and this is a business. Yeah, trust me, it's a business.
I'm very supportive of your job.
It's a real job, I swear.
That's crazy. That is fucking crazy. That when you get the drops, it's the biggest payday in human history because it's just people who've gone AFK or gone to bed, and you can just farm adverts to their screen and get paid for it. At some point, the Twitch or the advertisers have to realize. I mean, I don't want to be the whistleblower here. If Jeff Bezos is watching this, I'm sorry. Flats is going to be so mad when Jeff Bezos watches this.
He's going to come for you. He's going to come for you.
Twitch,
You're literally coming for the king right now, Chris.
I said the ground rule at the start was we were not going for the king. Okay,
I'm going for his head. Okay, I'm locked in on his fucking head. But I swear, at some point it all bursts. Like it
does feel like it's I think the viewbot shit's brewing right now on Twitch though. Like every day I see like stuff on Twitter about it.
Like XQC popped off about it, I think, recently, because I think Twitch are doing like a crackdown on view botting. I think that is like a separate issue. Like that's like a literal separate programs and the drops. I feel like Twitch probably don't Twitch only care, I guess, if the advertisers cotton on. Because like Twitch is still selling the adverts, but if the advertisers maybe cotton on, but now their ads aren't necessarily worth the same as, it's not like the view number isn't really worth what it's worth. That's where it falls down. I think in many ways that's kind of what happened in Overwatch League, right? The league sold a load of sponsorship deals, and everyone was like, "Yeah, great, get us those views. Here's the money." And then everyone realized, where's the viewership, guys? Where's the attention? Where are the sales conversions that we were hoping for? And then they just pulled out and never looked back.
It's literally the fucking housing market. Everybody's everybody's in on it until someone inspects it, and then the whole thing's gonna fucking come tumbling down. I'm gonna be glad I'm on SSG as a competitive. I'm not a content creator whose livelihood is gonna get rug pulled,
But isn't Twitch having problems with like ads and sponsors right now? I swear so many times I'm on Twitch and I just see like the blank ad screen. I don't really know what that means, but I assume it means they're struggling to fill the spot. But I don't really know. It's like you see these top streamers, like there'll be 4 people all streaming in the same place, like the same IRL stream, and they're all starting like 60k viewers each. It doesn't seem very plausible to me.
Well, anyway, keep it coming.
Agree.
Any other
keep
clients?
The good times good before they turn to bad times. That's what I've always said.
Nice.
That is so wise and so articulate.
I might write that down.
Swing for the cake.
Yeah,
and you
take a pen, mate. Get a pen.
Any more? We did actually create a Discord channel on the Uncoachable Discord for people to submit their Client of the Week nominations to maybe help us to remember or throw their own suggestions in. People kind of just posted the Flats thing, and then we lost a lot of steam there. So if I could put more steam into that, or
steam it up, guys.
Steam it up, everybody.
I don't know if think of any more. Maybe the people. The only thing I think of is people on Twitter who are saying VP picked up Kevster to be a sim specialist. I wasn't really sure what was going on there. I saw that take a few too many times. But I can't remember. Yeah. Maybe in OC or something. I don't know.
I think it was.
But I can't remember. I don't know. Not many clients this offseason, I guess.
I don't think there's any others.
Maybe
Did we talk about the leakers last week?
Okay,
I feel like the leakers had a particularly bad run of it. They just had no source at all this year or this stage. What
they even do? Like,
there was that one account. There was one account that was fairly accurate, but Kevster at SSG was like everywhere. That was like the main leak of the off season. It was just wrong.
I mean, that's like for smoking gun. Nah, they just don't know. Now they're just repeating everything, and it's like
that's true. They just repeat and gamble. It's repeat and gamble soon. But I don't know. It's just boring when it's like that, because you just know you're just like gambling on whether your shit's right or not. It's like that's not leaking. We need what was his name? The owl guy. Like Halo of Thoughts, is it him?
Halo of Thoughts. Bring back Halo of Thoughts.
I mean, that is how bad it's got, because he was also getting flamed for the same lack of journalistic integrity.
We need we need to bring back Halo of Thoughts.
But when it's just a new at least he had like under your like criteria. He had his name and he had his face. This is literally the only thing we had this off season was a new Twitter account posting notepad screenshots. Like, it's really the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the one
the leakers altogether.
I did enjoy the one that was like a riddle. Do you remember?
Oh, the one like Qadsiah playing with a red name, Liquipedia, like something like that. No, I have no clue where that one came from. He's playing with like a red name A red name
There was-
DPS
okay.
player.
There was
That's absolute
one.
garbage.
There was
Go on.
one true, which Stacks OW, of course, was
Naturally.
also just at it because he stopped doing leaks, but he just couldn't help but like
He saw the dopamine on the shelf.
he needed people to know he knew. So he would do like a tweet and he would do like, ooh, only the eyes of a hawk would know what SSG are doing or something, you know? And it's like, ooh. And then like they would announce it and then there would be a tweet like, ooh, what a surprise or something, you know? Like they're just like little tweets that they wasn't full on announcing it, but it was just really important that people knew. Someone told me something, you know, like it was still, but you know, I've done enough, you know. He's not winning it this week, you know.
Like you mentioned him a few too many times.
Rent free, mate. Rent free.
Yeah, it's true. It's fucking true.
All right.
Wrapped.
Big.
Fork.
Wrapped.
Wait.
Big thank you to FLX Red Eyes.
Red
Big
Eyes.
thank you to Red
mate.
Eyes.
Red Eyes, you the man, okay? Don't let anyone tell
Red
you
Eyes.
you're not.
You the man.
Thank him now, Crispy.
Thank him.
Thank you, Red Eyes. Thank you, Red
Yes,
Eyes.
Crispy.
Yes.
I have no idea what you've done or who you are, but
What's up? Don't
worry.
his name, would you? Like,
It's a perfectly safe person to thank. You've not got yourself into any kind of political hot water or associated with any kind of wrong groups. Red Eyes is definitely one of the good ones.
very sound.
What did Red Eyes do?
Give us money.
He's our biggest supporter on
perfect.
Patreon.
Perfect. Wait, Red Eyes might have gifted me an unto sub. That might be completely like
Yeah,
like the
probably
wrong
is.
guy.
No, it is.
No,
yeah,
no.
he's
It's probably him.
he's
Hyper-
active in both
he's
chats.
Hyper generous, has a job, overall top person.
Thank
Big
you,
ups
Red
on the
Eyes.
employed. That's a big problem with my viewership, really, is there's only like 3 employed people out of 1,000 viewers and only 200 at the keyboard because of the bot situation. But
Would you class the bots as employed?
More
well,
employed
they're
than
actually
an average
they're
underviewer.
doing more,
They've got a purpose.
doing more work.
The average, I go into the Discord, the Uncode, and for sure it would just be better if it was bots. Like there would just be more humanity in there if it was just replaced by bots.